I open an internet cafe in Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 I love Luo Beast transformation. With the sand, Naruto's shadow clone's harassment attack was useless, and his flying sword attack seemed to have no effect. For a moment, the situation was deadlocked. Ice curse. At this moment, Sakura arrived here in time, and fired an ice curse directly at Gaara. Faced with the sudden freezing attack, Gaara was shocked, and finally jumped back a small step to avoid the attack. Why are you here? Naruto was very happy to see Sakura coming, but is Sasuke okay? No one is coming over there yet. After hearing the movement here, Sasuke asked me to come to reinforce you. It would be great to have your help. Naruto's no way to the two people in front of him does not mean that Sakura has no way. The water spell among the 5 element of magic is simply a natural counter to Gaara. Even if the ice spell is the most basic water spell, its attack range is not wide and its power is not strong enough. Sakura can only use it about 20 times, but it can still wet all the sand on the ground. Isn't it a bit of a waste to just use the ice spell to wet the sand? Sakura, go deal with the woman on the opposite side, and let me take care of the good carrying one. Now it's 2-on-2, and Sakura is obviously stronger than Temari. As long as Naruto can hold Gaara back, this battle will be won. No problem. Thunder curse. After hearing Naruto's proposal, Sakura answered and fired a thunder curse directly at Temari. This kind of instant attack was the first time Temari encountered it. Fortunately, she had the ice curse just now as a foundation. When Sakura answered Naruto, she was always on guard. When the lightning fell from the sky, she jumped and narrowly avoided the attack. It's useless. The speed of lightning is not comparable to ordinary ninjutsu. If you can dodge it once, can you dodge it 2, 3, or 4 times? Temari thought Sakura was right. The speed of lightning was indeed very fast. If she wanted to get rid of the passive situation of being beaten, she could only attack instead of defend. Wind style, Kametachi. With a wave of the fan, a gust of wind attacked Sakura. Sakura smiled slightly. Wind? I can do that too. Wind curse. The target of this wind curse was not Temari, but the gust of wind. The moment the gust of wind collided with the wind curse, the airflow began to run wildly everywhere, and the sharp blade hidden and the gust of wind also lost control and began to fly around. Ding. Faced with such a situation, Temari carefully used a large fan to block in front of herself to avoid being hit by the wind blade. Earth curse. Temari had the fan to defend herself, and Sakura also summoned a large amount of earth to defend herself. When the gust of wind disappeared, Sakura fired another fire curse at Temari. Seeing a big fireball coming, Temari cursed inwardly that it was a monster and quickly began to move to avoid it. Ice escape, lightning escape, wind escape, earth escape, and fire escape. The woman opposite is also a monster. No wonder Temari thought so. Few people in the ninja world are born with more than 3 chakra attributes. Only after becoming a jonin and being exposed to the changes in the nature of chakra can they practice chakra attributes other than their own. From the fact that Sakura appeared in the Chunin exam, it can be seen that she did not become a jonin. She is not a jonin, but she has 5 chakra attributes, one of which is a blood limit of ice escape. If you say that she is not a monster, someone has to believe it. Sakura didn't know what Temari thought. Her fire spell made Temari dodge desperately, and she had no free time to attack her. Sakura would not let him idle this time. The 5 element spells took turns to attack Temari. Faced with such a violent attack from Sakura, Temari had no choice but to dodge as much as possible. But how long can she dodge? It was only a matter of time before she was defeated. Temari was running around, and Gaara felt something was wrong. Without Temari's restraint, Naruto could let go and attack Gaara with all his strength. These sands are really annoying. If he doesn't pay attention, he will be entangled by the sand under his feet, so he has to use a little energy to deal with the sand under his feet. However, even so, Naruto still has the advantage. Not to mention that he knows the dragon elephant prajna and the divine movement. Even if he only uses the multiple shadow clone technique, he thinks he can win. It's just that it will take a little longer. After all, these sands are really annoying. Fortunately, he knows more than just the multiple shadow clone technique. Using the harassment ability of the shadow clones, his own body uses the dragon elephant prajna close to the body. Gaara's sand can't defend against this rough and powerful force. Just one punch made Gaara spit blood. Blood, it's blood. The one-tailed sand Shukaku has a violent and belligerent personality. In order to avoid being controlled by his mind, Gaara has to be on guard all the time, so he suffers from insomnia and his mind becomes extremely unstable. Because the seal on Shukaku is not complete and is still in the experimental stage, coupled with the influence of insomnia, Gaara is now very easy to lose control. As soon as he saw the blood, Gaara could no longer suppress the madness in his heart and began to transform into a tailed beast. His right arm turned into sand and quickly changed from a human arm to a mini version of Shukaku's arm. Gaara, you have to control yourself. When Naruto saw that Gaara was about to transform into a tailed beast, he felt that things had gotten out of hand. Strictly speaking, the tailed beast coat that appeared when Naruto fought Orochimaru could only be regarded as the most basic tailed beast transformation. Complete tailed beast transformation is when the body transforms into a tailed beast, just like Gaara is now. Naruto experienced the most basic tailed beast transformation once and destroyed Orochimaru's 10,000 snakes formation with just one strike. What if Gaara completely transforms into a tailed beast? Kurama, what can you do? At first, Naruto did not ask the Ninetales for help because he wanted to train himself. He couldn't rely on the Ninetales for everything because it would eventually come out of his body and return to freedom. But now Naruto had no choice but to ask for help from Kurama, who was also a tailed beast. TSK, I don't have a good relationship with that raccoon cat. If I show up, things might get worse. As life forms that materialize chakra, the tailed beasts actually have a so-called tailed beast space. Even if the two parties have not met, as long as they feel each other's chakra, they can talk in the tailed beast space with the other party's consent. Of course, this space is mainly used for multiple tailed beasts to talk. If there are only two, it is better to talk directly outside, without the unnecessary effort of entering the space. I have explained so much here, but I actually want to explain one thing, that is, the Ninetales can talk to the tail in the body of another Jinchuriki through the Jinchuriki. But as the Ninetales said, it does not have a good relationship with Shukaku, and rash communication may have a counterproductive effect. Chapter 77 Naruto feels a little regretful. Can it be worse than the current situation? Well, if it didn't know I was here, it might take a little time to transform into a tailed beast. If it knew I was here, it might immediately intensify its efforts to seize the body of the Jinchuriki and quickly transform into a tailed beast. Hearing the answer of the Ninetales, Naruto was stunned for a moment and asked, "What deep hatred do you have with it?" "Well, it's nothing. I just beat it hard a few times many years ago." Well, Naruto also knew that Kurama and Shukaku had fought many years ago. Now hearing what Kurama said, it is estimated that Shukaku was beaten up. No matter, we should try our best. If Shukaku doesn't appreciate it, then it's not our fault. Naruto has made preparations. If things really develop in the worst direction, he may have to perform the 10,000 swords technique again. Okay. Wait a minute. Ninetales. Just when Kurama was about to use the tailed beast's unique chakra to talk to Shukaku, Naruto saw Temari, who was embarrassed by Sakura, running towards Gaara regardless of her own safety. "Gaara, wake up." At this time, Gaara's own consciousness had actually been seriously disturbed by Shukaku. If Temari ran over like this, she would risk being attacked by Gaara. But she had no choice but to go. Gaara was her brother. If he turned into a tailed beast now, not only would the original plan of the Sand Village be ruined, but even whether Gaara himself could survive would be a problem. Think about it, a tailed beast suddenly appeared during the Chunin exam. Do you think the ninjas of Konoha would think it was a surprise or a shock? Temari had no control over the Sand Village's plan, but Gaara must not get into trouble. Temari, go. Gaara's consciousness was not very clear. He tried hard to suppress his murderous intent towards Temari and asked Temari to leave quickly. Gaara, control yourself. You must not reveal your identity now. Gaara knew that he was just influenced by Shukaku and became violent and murderous. He himself was not an idiot. However, Gaara could not suppress Shukaku in his body now. Go, take Kankuro with you. Otherwise, I will kill you all. From some small details in the original work, we can see that, although Gaara has always been cold to Temari and Kankuro, he has never really used violence against them. Because he knows that these two people are different from other small fish. They are the only two people who care about him now. He doesn't want to kill Temari and Kankuro. Seeing that he can't suppress Shukaku anymore, he naturally hopes that these two people will run as far as possible. Looking at Gaara with a ferocious face and saliva on the corners of his mouth, Temari did not run away, but hugged Gaara. It's strange that Shazi, who always forbids others to get close to Gaara, did not stop Temari this time. Being hugged by Temari, Gaara was stunned. He hadn't felt such a warm embrace for a long time. Since killing Yashamaru, he had been facing negative emotions such as resentment and fear. He had been in such negative emotions for too long and had not felt the light brought by warmth. At this moment, Temari's gentle hug made him feel the long lost light. Temari, let me go, I'm fine now. The negative emotions had been driven away by the gentle light, and Gaara successfully suppressed Shukaku and regained all his consciousness. Looking at Gaara, who had woken up, Temari cried with joy. She didn't listen to him and let him go, but increased the intensity of the hug. Next to her, Sakura came to Naruto and asked in a low voice, in this situation, should we fight or not? Naruto touched his hair, and he seemed very entangled. If you say to fight, what if Gaara starts to go berserk again? If not, Naruto felt a little bit. Sakura, what do you think? Me. Sakura pointed at herself, feeling confused. Naruto and Sasuke had always made the decisions in the team, and now she suddenly had to make the decision, and she really didn't know what to do. How about letting them go? If we let them go, how can we explain it to Sasuke when he asks about it? Then don't let them go. If we don't let them go, what if Gaara goes berserk again? You go and deal with him? Sakura rubbed her hair frantically for a while and replied angrily, this won't work, and that won't work either. What do you say we should do? Am I not asking you? Ask your sister. Sakura, who had returned to her true nature by this question, clenched her fist and said viciously, have you ever seen a fist as big as a sandbag? If you are making things difficult for me, I will beat you up. Okay. Helplessly, Naruto could only think of a way to solve this tangled problem by himself. Fortunately, Naruto didn't hesitate for long. Temari came over with 2 scrolls and said, the scroll you want. Here are the scrolls you want. You gave me the scrolls, so what will you do? Of course we'll go and steal someone else's. Is that so? Naruto took the scrolls and watched the 3 disappear in front of his eyes. You've done it here. I'll go back to Sasuke. Well, you go. Sakura left and returned to Sasuke. Naruto looked at the 2 scrolls in his hand, smiled silently, and returned to a position that was very suitable for Yin-Ren. On the first day of the exam, almost all the candidates were still cautiously testing and competing for the scrolls of other candidates. Only the powerful Sand Village trio successfully arrived at the central tower. So except for a fight on Naruto's side, they all seemed very bored the rest of the time. Especially Naruto. Sasuke still had Sakura to talk to, and Naruto could only chat with Kurama. Chatting with a stinky fox is not as pleasing as chatting with a beautiful girl. Thinking that Sakura and Sasuke might be happily playing, Naruto couldn't help but want to take the initiative to go and find someone to fight. After all, it was too boring. When the time came to the second day, the situation changed. Damn, we will be back. A supporting ninja looked at the yellow-haired man in front of him with indignation. Okay, I'll wait for you. Yawning, Naruto looked at the increasing number of scrolls and suddenly felt that his decision to stop all candidates outside the tower was a bit reckless. Yes, compared with the boring situation on the first day, the arrival of some candidates on the second day was indeed not boring. However, the strength of these candidates was really too poor. At the beginning, Naruto was still very interested in playing with them. But after a few times, Naruto felt bored. Chapter 78 Avengers. Some people may be interested in bullying weaklings because bullying weaklings can make them feel invincible. So some people who are not very strong but very vain will like to bully weaklings. But Naruto and Sasuke are not the kind of people who like to bully weaklings. 1 or 2 games are fine. They will be very interested in playing with these people. But if it happens too many times, they will get bored. Now Naruto has begun to think about why he was so bored that he proposed to Sasuke to stop everyone from entering the central tower. Thinking that this would take another 3 days, Naruto felt uncomfortable, nauseous, and wanted to vomit. How about we go and discuss with Sasuke and simply not stop them? Naruto has already started to back down. Sasuke's situation is similar. The main reason why he agreed to Naruto's proposal was to fight against masters and increase his combat experience. However, he didn't see any masters, but he did see a lot of weaklings. This is completely different from what he imagined. Sasuke, why don't we just forget about it? Looking at Naruto's shadow clone who came to discuss, Sasuke didn't know how to answer. He had indeed thought about this. Instead of playing around with these noobs, it would be better to go into the tower to rest. Maybe he could ask the examiner for leave to go out and play for a while and come back on the 5th day. But Sasuke himself is very proud. He felt ashamed from the bottom of his heart for such a half-hearted behavior. After weighing it a little, Sasuke replied, "Okay, this blocking operation is cancelled. Okay, I'll go back and tell the original." Wait a minute. Seeing Naruto's shadow clone was about to leave, Sasuke hurriedly stopped him. "I think even if we have to cancel the operation, we can't just withdraw like that." "What do you mean? We need a step." Hearing this, Naruto's shadow clone understood. Sasuke was afraid that this half-hearted operation would make the Anbu who were secretly watching laugh at him. In order to maintain his self-esteem, he must have a suitable reason. "Well, I understand. If nothing unexpected happens, this staircase will be there soon." Naruto's shadow clone was right. This staircase appeared on the 3rd day of the exam. Early in the morning, Naruto's shadow clone woke him up. Before he could stretch and wash his face, a strong gust of wind came and blew him up directly. Damn, what's going on? With the flying sword unsheathed, Naruto stood in the sky with a blank expression. At this time, sand actually fell from the sky. Sand? Seeing the sand, Naruto reacted. He was attacked. Damn, you guys are so uncivilized. You actually attacked me while I was sleeping. Stepping on the sword, Naruto looked down. Oh my god, there were about 30 candidates, all throwing kunai at Naruto. Kunai attack is kunai attack, which is considered a normal ninja tool attack. But what does the guy next to him who keeps spitting mean? What kind of hatred or grudge is this? With the sand rain above and the kunai saliva below, facing the double attack, Naruto naturally controlled the flying sword and ran away. Of course, he did not run far, but just ran out of the attack range of the people below. I say, you so many people come to attack me. It's not that bad. This scene seems to be different from what Naruto imagined. The stairs imagined by Naruto's shadow clone last night were the 8th and 10th teams, who were also guests of the internet cafe. This is the 3rd day, and the 8th and 10th teams should have reached the central tower even if they walked. By then, Sasuke and Sakura will accompany them to play a fake game, and it will be done, as long as they can save face. Who would have thought that this group of guys who were blocked by Naruto actually united together? You say to unite, so unite. No matter how many chickens there are, they are still chickens. But the leader of this group of chickens is the Sand Village trio. What is this? The Avengers? Looking at Gaara who was controlling the sand to attack him, Naruto wanted to say to him, "Galzi, you have changed." Gaara was so cruel back then that even Temari and Kankuro were afraid that they would make him angry and then be killed by him. What about now? Gaara actually led this group of noobs to attack him. Director, this script is wrong. Naruto was attacked by Gaara and his group, and Sasuke was in a similar situation. The only difference was that the leader changed from Gaara to Shikamaru. Shikamaru, what are you doing? Looking at the dozens of people in front of them, Sasuke and Sakura were also a little confused. There is no way. You want to stop us from going in, so we naturally have to unite together. Facing Sasuke's question, Shikamaru responded with a helpless look. Everyone, stop talking nonsense. Now let's talk and settle the old and new accounts together. As soon as the voice fell, someone immediately attacked Sasuke. While dodging, Sasuke saw clearly who had just spoken. Heh, isn't this the guy whose arm I cut off? That's right, the one who instigated these people to attack was Saku, who had provoked Sasuke and had his arm cut off in the first written test. I spared your life out of kindness, but you don't know how to be grateful. Today, you will sleep here forever. Sasuke said, stepping on the flying sword, and directly fired a huge fireball from above. Water style, water wave. X3 Those who can come to participate in the Chunin exam are basically the best among the genin in the village. Among these dozens of people, there are still some who can perform basic water style ninjutsu like water wave. Sasuke's huge fireball is naturally powerful, but before the fireball can get close to these people, it is extinguished by 3 streams of water. The extinguishing of the huge fireball produces a lot of water vapor, which blocks the vision of the people below, and they can't see Sasuke flying above. Everyone disperse first. In order to avoid being wiped out by Sasuke in one wave, Shikamaru hurriedly asked everyone to disperse. Of course, the dispersion here is not for individuals, but for teams. Looking at the candidates separated into groups of 3 or 4, Sasuke smiled and swooped down with his flying sword. It seemed that he was going to compete with these people in physical skills. Choji understood the transformation technique meat bomb tank. Hearing Shikamaru's voice, Choji directly turned himself into a large meatball and then rolled quickly towards Sasuke. If you had been flying in the sky, it would be difficult for us to deal with you, but since you are down, I'm sorry. Sakura next to him had been restrained by a small group of people. As long as Sasuke was dealt with, Sakura would naturally not be a concern. Chapter 79 Sak must die. The main reason why no Shikacho is a very classic ninja combination is that the secret techniques of the 3 families can complement each other. The secret technique of the Akimichi family, the double transformation technique. The effect of this secret technique is to consume a large amount of chakra, causing part of the body or the whole body to temporarily swell, greatly enhancing one's own strength. The secret technique of the Nera family, the shadow technique. The main effect of this secret technique is to bind and control the enemy. Although it seems to have limited functions, with the deformation of the shadow and the change of the light source, plus agile thinking, the shadow technique can be used to achieve a variety of effects. The secret technique of the Yamanaka family, the heart-turning technique. This secret technique uses the soul to concentrate the spirit on one point, so as to release one's own spiritual power, to seize and manipulate the opponent's body. Once successful, the victory or defeat will be immediately determined. However, after this technique is successful, the body will fall into a sleep and need the protection of others. The Ino-Shikacho combination first uses the heart-turning technique to control the enemy, followed by the shadow binding technique, and finally uses the double transformation technique to attack and finish. This combination attack mode can be said to be accurate against a lone enemy. Sasuke was flying in the sky. Due to the maneuverability, Ino couldn't aim at him. After all, the spirit released by the heart turn technique could only move in a straight line. Now that Sasuke had landed and was entangled by so many tools, Ino could use this technique smoothly. This was also the reason why Shikamaru felt that he had won. Heart turn technique. After dodging Choji's meat bomb tank and preparing to enter the group of noobs to start Musou, Sasuke suddenly felt that he had lost control of his body. My consciousness is very clear, but I can't control my body. Is it the heart turn technique of the Yamanaka clan? Sasuke knew that he had been hit, but he didn't have any good way. The most annoying thing about this secret technique is that the disadvantages are obvious, but the advantages are also outstanding. The disadvantage of the heart turn technique is that it cannot protect its own body. Now that there are so many people around, Ino can rest assured to leave her body to Shikamaru and others to protect. She only needs to control Sasuke's body well and choose surrender. Okay, success. Seeing Ino's body fall down, Shikamaru smiled slightly. Now he only needs to use the shadow binding technique on Sasuke, and then the battle will be won. However, Shikamaru and others know that Sasuke has been secretly plotted by Ino, but the other tall ninjas don't know. Seeing Sasuke standing there stupidly, they all began to attack him tentatively. Ino's martial arts light skill is the Lingbo Ibu, which is suitable for small scale movement. When facing the attacks of these ninjas, she can still control Sasuke's body well to dodge. But after a while, these ninjas found that Sasuke didn't fight back, so they became bolder and began to besiege Sasuke. At this time, Lingbo Ibu played a smaller role. Many ninjas surrounded Sasuke, leaving her no room to dodge. For a while, Sasuke was hit by these people again and again. As mentioned above, the advantages of the secret technique are very prominent, but the disadvantages are also obvious. The heart-turning technique not only cannot effectively protect the original body, but also the person possessed by the body will also be injured when attacked. Don't attack yet, he has been controlled by us. Ino's original body was injured, which made Shikamaru very anxious, and he quickly asked these people not to attack. But these people would not listen to Shikamaru. They let Shikamaru be the leader temporarily, because he was a Konoha ninja. After all, Sasuke was also a Konoha ninja. Now Sasuke was about to be defeated by them. In this case, how could they still listen to Shikamaru? Damn it, Choji, separate them. There was no way. Shikamaru's shadow binding technique was not practiced well at present, and it could only work on one person. Now there were so many people here, and with his own ability, he could not stop it at all. Fortunately, there was a full-time thug in the team. Understood, meat bomb tank. Hearing Shikamaru's instructions, Choji used another meat bomb tank to drive towards the people who besieged Sasuke to force them back. Don't even think about it. Choji's meat bomb tank is undoubtedly a very strong form among this group of genin. Most people would give way when seeing Choji in this state. But Saku, who has a grudge against Sasuke, is not afraid of Choji. Seeing Choji rolling over, Saku opened his left arm and revealed the air duct in his palm. Zankangjibo. 100% air pressure and 100% ultrasonic waves sprayed out from the air duct in his hand, knocking Choji unconscious. Choji's coma made Shikamaru lose the ability to control the overall situation, which made him anxious. Not only Shikamaru was anxious, but Sakura, who was restrained by someone on the side, was also anxious. Wind curse. Flame curse. Thunder curse. Seeing that Shikamaru could no longer control the situation, Sakura didn't care whether this was the step that Sasuke wanted. Now, she was going to start killing people. Wow. Help. These people didn't expect that Sakura, who had been hiding behind Sasuke yesterday and was now restrained by them, would explode so strongly. Each ninjutsu was used wantonly, as if it was free. In the blink of an eye, these people were killed or injured. Sakura went crazy, and the situation was reversed in an instant. A mob is a mob. Shikamaru sighed. In fact, his original intention was just to get Sasuke out of the way, but he didn't expect it to turn out like this. Since things can't be reversed, there is no need to reverse it. Ino, come back. Ino had long wanted to return to her original body. She couldn't stand being beaten all the time, not to mention that she was possessed by Sasuke's body. If she wasn't afraid of ruining Shikamaru's original plan, she would have returned to her own body long ago. Now hearing Shikamaru asking her to come back, Ino didn't delay for a second, relaxed her mind, and returned to her original body in an instant. At this time, Sasuke, who had been watching from the sidelines, also regained control of his body. A bunch of trash. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Sasuke looked at these people with murderous eyes. Originally, Sasuke didn't want to kill these people. Who knew these guys would go so far? Especially the guy named Sak. He must die. Sakura. Guanine mantra. Okay Sasuke. At this time, Sakura had consumed too much chakra after killing more than a dozen genin. But after hearing Sasuke's call, she didn't hesitate at all and gave Sasuke a shot of healing. Sasuke felt much better instantly after being healed. After several consecutive swords forced these people back, Sasuke jumped out of the encirclement and used his ultimate move without hesitation. 10,000 swords technique. Not good. Ino, let's retreat quickly. Seeing Sasuke's flying sword change from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and 4 to 8, Shikamaru and Ino felt very bad. Ino, Shika, and Chao were all behind this group of people. If Sasuke's 10,000 swords technique was not controlled well, and he was accidentally injured or killed, who could he go to for justice? Thinking of this, the two hurriedly dragged the still unconscious Choji and ran all the way to Sakura's side. Sasuke would not be so crazy as to attack Sakura. Chapter 80 Entering the Tower. Because of Saku, the troublemaker, Sasuke went on a killing spree. Except for Shikamaru's team, all the other candidates were killed by Sasuke. Naruto didn't have Saku, so after a fake match with Gaara and his group, he retreated directly. However, he didn't let these candidates get away with it. He took away all the scrolls of heaven and earth that he collected yesterday. If these guys still want to pass the exam, they can only find new candidates to snatch the scrolls. Among the ninjas who came to deal with Naruto and Sasuke this time, Hinata's teammate, Nija's team 3, and Kabuto Yakushi did not appear. If these guys encounter these three groups, except for the Sand Village team, all of them will be defeated. The three members of Team 7 didn't care about what happened later. They took a lot of scrolls of heaven and earth and entered the central tower with Shikamaru's Team 10. They came to the empty and bright room. There were dazzling incandescent lights above the room, and several red pillars in the middle that were as thick as two people hugging together. The floor was covered with square floor tiles and was spotless. On the shelves with blue curtains against the walls, huge scrolls were neatly placed. Sakura couldn't help but exclaimed, "So many scrolls. How many days will it take to move them all?" Her team had already collected enough scrolls, and now that she was here, she finally understood what a lot really meant. Where are the people? Are there any examiners? After observing the surrounding environment for a while, Ino couldn't help but speak first. Ignoring Ino's shouting, the three members of Team 7 walked directly to the opposite side. After the three climbed up the stairs, they curiously pulled out a scroll from the shelf and unfolded it to find that it was a blank scroll. After putting it back, they pulled out another scroll, but it was still blank, so they didn't waste their time. Then they looked at the calligraphy and painting under the extremely conspicuous dragon head relief. The handwriting was so smooth and elegant that it was signed by the Sandame. Even though he didn't know how to appreciate calligraphy, he still found it pleasing to the eye and secretly said that it was a good handwriting. At this time, Ino, Shikamaru, and the awakened Choji also walked up from the other side of the stairs and came to the relief to look up at the original work of the third Hokage. Ahem. It was unknown whether Naruto was coughing or just clearing his throat. He recited in a rhythmic manner. If there is no sky, then no wisdom, and prepare for opportunities. If there is no earth, then pursue the original to seek profit. If you open the two books of heaven and earth, the trickery will return to the right way. This is the ultimate, and it is a leader. Sasuke said thoughtfully, this is probably a hint for us to open the scroll of heaven and earth. Hearing what Sasuke said, Naruto opened the scroll of heaven and earth without hesitation. The two scrolls were indeed summoning techniques with the word in the middle, and then he threw the two scrolls with white smoke on the ground. With a bang, Yumi no Iruka appeared with his feet on the scroll of heaven and earth and his arms folded across his chest. Iruka looked around and said, "It seems that you are lucky and have arrived at your destination smoothly. We Chunins are here to welcome the candidates for the second exam, and I'm responsible for the messenger work of conveying important information to you. Everyone, congratulations on passing the second exam." After that, Naruto directly complained, "Wouldn't it be better to just wait here to check the scroll? If every group that comes has to summon once, it will be hard enough." Iruka said seriously, "That's not the case. Being able to summon me is itself a way of testing, because it is not ruled out that some of the genin taking the exam will have special ninjutsu, which can peek at the content of the scroll without opening it, or forge it, based on the experience of previous Chunin exams. If there is a forged scroll, I can't be summoned." At this time, Sasuke asked, "Since we have passed, do we have to wait here for 2 days?" Iruka smiled and said, "Don't worry, explaining the meaning of these words is also another task of mine. This is the experience of the Chunin exam written by the Hokage. Can I only say that he is worthy of being a teacher?" Iruka, even at this time, he still doesn't forget his responsibilities as a teacher. The sky in this article refers to the human brain, and the earth refers to the human body. As long as you have both heaven and earth, no matter how dangerous the mission is, you can lead it to the right path. In other words, you can change the world with your own strength. For the sentence with the missing word, just add the word on the scroll. The survival training is to test whether the candidates have the basic ability of Chunin. You have passed it successfully. Chunin is a person at the level of a unit leader. He has the obligation to lead the team. The importance of mission-related knowledge and the necessity of physical strength must be kept in mind. I hope you will not forget this experience of the Chunin exam and continue to accept the next stage of the exam. The above is the order I'm responsible for conveying. Iruka's explanation is clear and logical, worthy of being a special Chunin with teaching ability. After Iruka finished speaking, Sasuke asked, still the same question as before, do we have to wait here for 2 days? Not necessarily, but I suggest you take a good rest in the tower for 2 days to recover your energy. In Iruka's opinion, they must have gone through a hard battle before they collected the 2 scrolls of heaven and earth. If everything went smoothly, they wouldn't have arrived at the tower on the 3rd day. Well, that's because Iruka didn't see the many scrolls below, otherwise he would have doubted his life. If too many people pass the 2nd exam, in order to improve the viewing experience of the 3rd exam, it is estimated that there will be an extra match in 2 days. So whether it's for your own recovery or to be able to participate in the extra match as soon as possible, I don't recommend you to leave here. In the original work, the number of teams that passed the 2nd exam was more than the Konoha level expected, so there was an extra match. But the current situation is that Sasuke went on a killing spree, and Naruto was very sneaky and took away many scrolls. The number of people participating in the 2nd exam was originally less than in the original work. Now after what they did, it's hard to say whether there will be an extra match in 2 days. I just realized, now that you are the first batch of candidates to enter the tower at this time, Iruka realized that something was wrong. Logically, candidates would arrive here one after another on the 2nd day, but now it's already the 3rd day, and Team 7 and Team 10 have only arrived here. Could it be that something unexpected happened in the Death Forest? After hearing what Iruka said, Naruto and the others looked at each other and did not tell Iruka what happened outside. Shaking his head, Iruka did not continue to dwell on this issue. Even if something happened outside, the Anbu would take over. Why should he, a teaching Chunin, worry about it? Come with me. I'll take you upstairs and introduce you to where you will live for the next 2 days. Then Iruka took the 6 people to visit the dormitory, kitchen, bathroom, toilet and other places in the tower. Chapter 81 Leaving the Tower. Iruka showed the 6 little warriors around the facilities in the tower, assigned them dormitories, and helped them collect quilts and other daily necessities at the logistics department, and then he left. The rooms in the tower are assigned by team, so even though Sakura and Ino are female, they still have to live in the same room with their team members. Great, this is like living with Sasuke. The room in the tower is not big, only about 20 square meters, with a double bed and a single bed. The single bed is surrounded by a mosquito net similar to the material of a tent, and it is obvious that it is prepared for girls. But Sakura doesn't mind Sasuke sleeping in the same bed with her. At this moment, Sakura is already imagining doing something embarrassing with Sasuke in the next 2 days. She was so caught up in her fantasy that she had completely ignored Naruto. Poor Naruto. Let's mourn for him for 3 seconds. Okay, collect. Sakura. Sakura. The child will be named Uchiha Sarada. Sakura, who had already imagined naming the child, said the name she thought of directly when she was woken up by Sasuke. Hearing this name, Sasuke was very upset. Knowing Sakura's personality well, how could he not know what she was thinking? They haven't even started yet, but Sakura has even thought of a name for the child. But why give it a girl's name? Does this mean you look down on me, Uchiha Sasuke, and think that I can't give birth to a boy? Let me tell you, I have a thick gun. Even Naruto said yes when he saw me. Sasuke, what did you say? Sakura's face turned red when her fantasy was interrupted by Sasuke, and she wanted to dig a hole to crawl into. She was so embarrassed. Nothing. I just want to ask you, do you want to go out with us? Shaking his head, Sasuke forcibly threw out the question of whether to have a boy or a girl. Go out? Yes. Naruto interrupted at this time. It's too boring to wait here for 2 days. Iruka teacher also said that it's not against the rules not to stay here. So Sasuke and I decided to go to the internet cafe to have some fun in the next 2 days. The distance between the central tower and the entrance of the forest of death is relatively far from the average examinee. If these people want to go out, it will definitely take a lot of time. However, this distance is very short for Sasuke and Naruto who can fly with swords. They can go out without any effort and return smoothly on the 5th day. I want to go too. Sasuke and Naruto are gone. Wouldn't it be more boring to leave her here alone? When going out and coming back, she can also touch Sasuke's body and touch a wave of flying swords. This is very attractive to Sakura. Okay, let's set off now without further ado. The 3 people fought outside the tower. Except for Sakura who consumed a lot of energy, Sasuke and Naruto basically didn't consume much energy and didn't need to rest at all. After washing their faces, the 3 walked out of the room and came to the outside of the tower. Coincidentally, the Sand Village trio also arrived at the central tower at this time. Are you going out? Because of Naruto's coincidence, Gaara's heart has undergone some wonderful changes, which made Temari no longer hostile to the 3 little strong men. Speaking of which, she still has to thank Naruto. Well, the exam lasts for 5 days, and this is only the 3rd day. We feel bored staying in the tower, so we decided to go out and have some fun. How are you going to get out? Well, I wish you have fun. Originally, Temari wanted to ask them how to get out. As I said just now, there is a long distance between here and the exit. But when she saw the swords on the backs of Naruto and Sasuke, she was relieved. These 2 guys can fly, so they can get out easily. After saying goodbye to the Sand Village team, Team 7 flew directly out of the Death Forest. When they were about to enter Konoha village, they got off the swords and walked towards the internet cafe. At this time, there was still no customer in the internet cafe. Liang, who was sitting at the door, sighed while basking in the sun. Fortunately, the second round of the Chunin exam is about to end. He will make back the lost sales in the past few days with interest. Uncle, we are here. Boss, why did you come out? Looking at the 3 little strong men, Liang felt very strange. Shouldn't they be in the Death Forest or in the central tower? Can they come out during the exam? During the exam, it doesn't say that we can't come out. Besides, we have passed. Can the Konoha high level cancel our scores just because we came out to wander? Well, this reason is very good and powerful. With the strength shown by the 3 little strong men, Sarutobi Hiruzen would cancel their scores unless he had a brain seizure. He also hoped that these 3 people would bring more honor to Konoha. By the way, Uncle, is Karen here with you? When Naruto was in the central tower just now, he looked for Karen inside. He heard from the examiner in the tower that Karen was taken away by someone. Karen has no relatives in Konoha, and the only person who can take her away is Liang. Karen is in special training. You will see her after the exam. After reaching a deal with Orochimaru on the first day of the exam, Liang flew to the top of the central tower and paid attention to what was happening in the forest of death. When Karen came to the bottom of the tower, he saw her. He directly revealed his identity to Karen and dispelled her suspicion. After speaking to the Anbu outside the tower, she took Karen back to the internet cafe. Liang originally wanted Sakura to be an internet cafe waitress, just like Bei. But Karen did not agree, saying that she wanted to continue to be a ninja. At this point, Liang also saw Karen blushing. Liang sympathized with Karen's experience and did not force her. Instead, he asked her to train with Bei for a period of time to enhance her physical fitness. The Uzumaki clan members have strong physical fitness. Just look at Uzumaki Naruto. Even though he has been eating junk food and drinking expired milk since he was a child, his physical fitness is still much stronger than that of ordinary ninjas. Uzumaki Karen also has such a natural physique, but unfortunately, after being squeezed by the Kusanagi for a long time, her current physical fitness is even worse than that of ordinary ninjas. Fortunately, Sakura nursed Karen several times and cleared the hidden injuries in her body, which gave her a chance to recover her physique. Handing Karen over to Bei and letting him train Karen for a while, Liang believed that she would recover. Is that so? Since you are training with Sister Bay, then I'm relieved. Does that mean you are worried about me and the special training? Zabuza, who was playing games, felt insulted when he heard Uzumaki Naruto say this. It's not my fault that this person is not good looking. Why are you all face dogs and your standards for judging people are so superficial? If it weren't for the boss, I would have blackmailed you to death. Well, it seems that Zabuza has gone further and further on the road of shamelessness. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Online Gameplay. Aren't you going to play Diablo 2? After paying the money and choosing the machine, the three turned on the computer and prepared to enter the game. At this time, Liang saw that the three had opened Chinese Paladin 1 again, completely ignoring Diablo 2, so he made a suggestion. In fact, the three had played Chinese Paladin 1 for a long time, whether they were concentrating on the main line or taking a different approach to play the sideline, they had played it many times. This time, they felt a little tired of it. Diablo 2? Sure. In fact, when Diablo 2 was first released, they also played it for a while, but compared with the sandbox mode of Chinese Paladin 1 and the scenery in the game, Diablo 2 did not have an advantage. The environment of Chinese Paladin 1 can be regarded as beautiful and pleasant, allowing people to enjoy the surrounding scenery while playing the game. In contrast, Diablo 2 has a strong dark style. This made the three little strong men who were used to the style of Chinese Paladin 1 seem very uncomfortable when facing the dark style. This is also the reason why the three habitually ignore Destroyer 2. After all, ninjas are dark enough. When playing games, you naturally have to play games that make you happy. Although the orthodox plot of Chinese Paladin 1 is not pleasant. Now that they have heard Liang's suggestion, even if they don't like the dark style, they have to try it. After all, Liang will not harm them. Opening the game and entering the game, the three did not choose the single player mode, but chose the online mode. This game is good in this way. Everyone can play together. Yes, it feels more interesting to play together than to play alone. After determining the mode, the three gave up the profession role when playing the single player mode and started to choose their own game profession role again. Unlike Chinese Paladin 1 where you can only play Li Xiaoyao, Destroyer 2 has 7 professions to choose from. They are Amazon, who has moderate HP and mana growth, and is good at using javelins, spears, and crossbows. Barbarian, who has the highest HP and lowest mana growth, and is suitable for all melee weapons. Necromancer, who is proficient in summoning undead creatures and curses. Paladin, who has the same HP and mana growth as Amazon, is good at using shields, and is suitable for most one-handed weapons. Mage, who specializes in elemental magic, including freezing, fire, and lightning. Assassin, whose HP and mana growth are similar to Paladin, and has a variety of attack methods. And Druid, who has 3 types of skills: transformation, summoning, and elemental. There is no distinction between the 7 professions, and each has its own characteristics. Naruto, I choose Barbarian. Sasuke, I choose Druid. Naruto and Sasuke did not hesitate, and directly chose their own professions. Naruto chose Barbarian without thinking, because he did not like to use his brain, and the martial arts he chose was the Dragon Elephant Borugan, which can defeat 10 skills with 1 force. The attributes of the Barbarian profession after each upgrade mainly increase HP and strength. Naruto particularly likes this kind of reckless profession. The reason why Sasuke chose Druid is also very simple. Now Sasuke has no shortage of attacking means, he just needs some auxiliary means. The transformation skill of Druid can be ignored, but its summoning and elemental skills can greatly enrich Sasuke's combat means. As for why he didn't choose a necromancer with summoning skills, Sasuke didn't want to be regarded as a pervert who plays with corpses. Naruto and Sasuke both chose their professions decisively, but Sakura seemed a little hesitant when facing the 7 major professions. As the auxiliary of the team, her reason told her to choose the paladin profession. But she also wanted to choose the mage with elemental magic, a profession that fits the 5 elements spell very well. What should I do? Should I choose the paladin with a very large bonus to the team, or the mage with many attacking means? At this moment, Sakura was in a dilemma. Think carefully about which aspect you want to develop, and then decide on your choice. Seeing Sakura's hesitation, Liang made his own suggestion. Originally, they need to spend money to open the training room for the skills in these games, and they can only be used in reality after successful training. Is Sakura rich? Of course not. Since she is not rich, she only needs to practice the skills in a game. Whether it is Chinese Paladin 1 or God of Destruction 2, the skills in them are very powerful when they are practiced to a high level. Sakura understood what Liang meant. After hearing what he said, Sakura directly chose the mage. The reason why she did not choose the paladin was not because Sakura gave up the position of being a team assistant, but she was determined to practice the spells in Chinese Paladin 1 first, and when she had practiced there, she would consider practicing the abilities of other games. In this way, the mage, who has a similar attack method to the 5 elements spell, became Sakura's first choice. The three entered the game, and Naruto, as the meat shield in the team, naturally stood in the front. As for skills, it didn't matter. Anyway, he only needed the attributes of the barbarian itself. Who told him to choose the martial arts of the dragon elephant Prajna? As long as the strength attribute is high enough, it means that one punch can kill a kid. Of course, he was not so fierce in the early stage, and could only act as a meat shield while attacking. Sasuke's druid profession chose a summoning skill, and summoned a crow at the beginning. With Naruto and the crow as meat shields, Sasuke can better protect himself while attacking. In reality, Sakura is a support, but in this game, she has become the output of the team. The first skill she chose was not the most powerful fire magic, but the freezing magic that can slow down the enemy's movement speed and attack speed. The three of them killed the monsters in the map, like cutting melons and vegetables, and while experiencing the pleasure brought by upgrading, they couldn't help but feel a little bored. I say, this game won't let us keep killing like this, it's a bit boring. Stupid Naruto, didn't the game tell us to resist the 3 demons at the beginning? The boredom now is just for the future war. Sakura is right, the final boss of this game must be the 3 demons. If we don't level up a little, how can we resist the 3 demons? It's just that it's really boring to keep leveling up like this. Naruto complained in a low voice. He didn't expect the game Liang recommended to be so boring. Although Chinese Paladin 1 also requires leveling, in addition to leveling, they can do other things, such as being a hero who roams the world, a gangster who flirts with women, a bandit who wants to steal women to be his wife, a scoundrel who goes to a brothel to drink, and drink without paying, etc. Unlike this game, all you have to do is kill monsters, and kill some zombies, that are not even as good as ordinary people. Naruto, be careful. Chapter 83 Shopping Software. Just when Naruto was feeling bored, a fireball suddenly attacked him. Fortunately, Sasuke called out, and Naruto reacted quickly, so he barely avoided the attack. MD, who dares to attack Naruto, I will beat him to death. Naruto, who was almost attacked by the monster, was furious and looked at the place where the fireball came from. Oh my god, there was a group of small monsters called Fallen standing there, and among these small monsters there was a fallen wizard who was obviously taller than them. The fallen was short, and held a mace and a shield in his hands. It was obvious that it was a melee monster. The fallen wizard, on the other hand, was not only tall, but also held a long knife and a bone scepter in his hand. It seemed that the fireball was definitely fired by this guy. Let's go. After saying that, Naruto took the lead and rushed into the group of fallen monsters. Sasuke's crow and Sakura's magic followed closely. Are these monsters so weak? Because they killed many zombies, the level of the 3 little strong men also increased a lot. Sasuke and Sakura need not say much. They have their own plans for adding points to attributes and skills. But Naruto, he randomly adds points to skills, and only adds physical fitness and strength to his attributes, which is completely reckless. There are many disadvantages to this, but there are also many advantages. With the dragon elephant Prajna, Naruto can really kill a small monster with one punch when facing some small monsters. The fallen are small monsters. When Sasuke and Sakura were restraining the fallen wizard, Naruto was like a warrior facing these fallen, which was extremely brutal. Naruto, come here quickly and kill this fallen wizard first. It can only be said that the fallen wizard is worthy of being the leader. Facing the attacks of Sasuke and Sakura, this guy shot and moved to another place, which was quite like a guerrilla war. Moreover, the most annoying thing about this guy is not running away, but that he can revive the fallen. I said that killing so many fallen is not a small number. It turns out that it can revive these small monsters. Knowing the ability of the fallen wizard, Naruto muttered and rushed over like a dragon and a tiger. With Naruto and Crow entangled, Sakura's magic also had a target. After several rounds of attacks, the fallen wizard died at their hands. The leader was dead, and the remaining small ones were easier to deal with. The three little strong men fought hand to hand, and used magic, and quickly cleared the group of monsters. Although the group of fallen monsters was not that strong, it gave the three people the pleasure of being invincible. At this moment, the three people also felt that this game did not seem to be so bad. While the three little strong men were playing Diablo, Liang was also thinking about how to improve the internet cafe and improve the guests' gaming experience. It was just that this seemed a bit difficult. After all, he could not completely control the internet cafe. If he wanted to add a game, he had to look at the face of the system. However, in addition to the core part of the game, could he do something other than the core to provide auxiliary services? Liang had been thinking about doing this for a long time. Ever since the system mall could buy items in Chinese Paladin 1, he wanted to make an online shopping software. In this way, after customers open the software on their computers, they will know what they have for sale here. When they see the items they like, they can buy them from him, as long as they pay. It's not like now. If he wants to sell something, he needs to sell it like a salesman. The problem is that he doesn't know what the customers want to buy. It was thanks to his wit that he sold a wave of magic swords at the beginning. Otherwise the customers would not know that he could buy things here. System, let's make a deal. Can we make a shopping software? Liang didn't know whether this system was intelligent, but it was always good to try it. It didn't cost any money anyway. If it succeeded, it would be great. If it didn't, it would just be a waste of saliva. Maybe the system couldn't stand Liang's long-term harassment. This time the system actually replied to Liang. Ding. Received the host's suggestion. The host's suggestion is reasonable and approved. Huh. Liang himself was just trying it out. He didn't expect it to succeed. After all, he had been harassing the system for a long time, and the system had never responded. This time, it didn't know what it was thinking, and actually agreed to him. This made Liang feel that this system should be intelligent and just didn't want to pay attention to him. Otherwise, how to explain this situation now? Thank you, system boss. With the shopping software, it is easier to sell the various items in his mall. In this way, it will be easier for him to complete the task. What's going on? Just as Liang happily entered the software called Internet Cafe Shopping, he suddenly found that the funds of his internet cafe suddenly decreased, leaving only more than 1 million taels. Damn, system, you are too black. Just a software, you actually charged 25 million taels. Looking at the task progress bar that had been halfway through, it suddenly shrank to a little bit, and Liang's mentality almost exploded. Fortunately, there is still software. Calm down. Keeping his mind, Liang entered the shopping software. The interface is very simple, and there are only two large options, Xianjian 1 and Destroyer 2. There are also small options under these two large options. It is similar to the interface when Liang entered the system mall. Not only is the interface similar, but even the selling price is the same as that of the mall. That won't do. He created this software mainly to make money. If the items in it are the same as those in the system mall, how can he make any money? Of course, he quickly started to modify the prices of the items in it. Compared with the system mall, he directly raised the prices tenfold. That's comfortable now. Looking at the items in the mall, Liang felt that, as long as he restored the business of the internet cafe, he could just sit back and collect money. As a ninja, if you want to make money, you can only do tasks. High yield tasks also mean high risks. There are many life-saving props in the two games, such as pills that restore blood volume and random moving scrolls that can escape. With these things, Liang will not worry about not making money. After thinking about it, Liang felt that these life-saving items should not be sold too expensively. Otherwise, if the money earned from a task is used to buy life-saving items, will the customers have money left to play games and use the training room? Small profits but quick turnover. People-oriented is the kingly way. Thinking of this, Liang quickly entered the shopping app again and modified the prices of life-saving items such as elixirs and random scrolls from 10 times to 2 times. I'm really a conscientious merchant. Chapter 84. First match, Shikamaru vs. Ino. Time flies by in the blink of an eye. After playing God of Destruction 2 in the internet cafe for 2 days and fully enjoying the fun brought by the game, the 3 members of Team 7 are going back to the Forest of Death. During these 2 days, Naruto also went to see Karin at her training place and told her to follow sister-based training and recover her physique as soon as possible. Karin naturally agreed to Naruto's admonition. Seeing Karin full of energy, Naruto left with peace of mind. After 5 days, the second round of the Chunin exam is finally coming to an end. Because Team 7 blocked the door, there are fewer candidates entering the tower this time than in the original book. On the Konoha side, the 12 little strongmen are naturally not absent. On the outer village side, only the Sand Village team entered the tower. In addition, the Sound team in the original book has been killed by Sasuke using the 10,000 swords technique. The team of Kabuto Yakushi did not enter the tower because they did not collect all the scrolls. So only these 15 people entered the tower. At this time, the third Hokage was standing in the center of the central tower and giving a speech about the significance of this exam and the so-called Will of Fire. Most of the examiners did not listen carefully to his speech, but looked at the examinees on the field with a tangled face. Especially when looking at the 3 people of Team 7, their expressions were particularly complicated. In the past Chunin exams, whether it was held by Konoha or other villages, there has never been a blocking the door situation. First of all, everyone is a candidate, even if there is a gap in strength, it will not be too big. Secondly, this kind of thing is very offensive after all. Even if others fail this time, it does not mean that they will not be able to pass in the future. If they encounter it in the future when doing a mission, with this grudge, the win-win mission may become an opposing mission, which is not worth the loss. However, the situation this time is not too bad. Sasuke killed some of the ninjas who did not enter the tower, and some of the rest were also killed in the snatching of the remaining scrolls. There are only a few examinees who are still alive, and they are all examinees from small ninja villages. Well, it is not a big deal. The third Hokage's speech was long and boring. He had just finished a summary and was about to say the next words when a Jonin jumped out from the crowd. Third Hokage, please allow me to start hosting the competition. The third Hokage had no choice but to nod and walked up to the second floor stand. This Jonin was naturally Gale, who had the name of the protagonist but not the life of the protagonist. After Sarutobi Hiruzen returned to the second floor, he said sickly, "First of all, congratulations on passing the Death Forest cough cough. Now we will start the one-on-one preliminary competition cough cough cough. You will randomly select your opponent through the screen to compete. If one party cough 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 surrenders and faints, or dies cough cough cough, the competition will be considered a failure. The winner can participate in the Chunin selection finals 1 month later. Cough 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 excuse me, is there anyone cough 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 who wants to quit? Are you kidding? They finally entered the tower with great difficulty. You want them to quit voluntarily? No way. Since there are no questions, wait a minute, I have a question." Just as Gale was about to announce the start of the preliminaries, Shikamaru raised his hand to indicate that he had a question. "What's your question? There are 15 of us here. If it's one-on-one, does that mean someone will have a bye? And the person with a bye will go directly to the third exam?" Ahem, yes. Okay, I have no questions. 15 people have one bye, which means 14 people will have a 1v1 duel to decide 7 people, plus the one with a bye, which is exactly 8 people. Then, I declare the preliminaries, ahem, officially open. First match. As Gale gave the order, the big screen next to it began to scroll. After a while, the big screen stopped. First match, Shikamaru vs Ino. What? As soon as the first match came out, everyone started to exclaim. To be honest, 12 of the 15 people are from Konoha. With such a large ratio, it is inevitable that the same village will compete. However, these two people are not only genin from the same village, but also teammates from the same team. What a hassle. Seeing that his opponent was Ino, Shikamaru couldn't help but sigh. Shikamaru, just wait to admit defeat. Looking at the happy Ino, Shikamaru was very sad. He felt that with his brain and strength, among these dozen people, as long as he didn't encounter those limited few people, his chance of winning would be very high. But Ino happened to be one of these limited few people. There was no way. Ino's mind-turning technique was simply too buggy. Among these people, except for Sakura, who had the secondary personality of Sakura, who could unlock Ino's secret technique, the remaining only Naruto and Gaara were immune to the mind-turning technique. As long as he didn't encounter these three people, Ino's chance of winning against Sasuke would be very high. Didn't you see that when he was outside the tower, Ino controlled Sasuke tightly? Examiner, can we start? Shikamaru walked to the center with a tangled look on his face, took off his coat, and asked the examiner helplessly. You can open it. Hearing Shikamaru's question, Moonlight Gale naturally had to answer, but before he finished speaking, Shikamaru took action directly. The first move is the strongest. Shadow imitation technique. Shikamaru knew that, if he wanted to win this duel, he had to seize the initiative, and prevent Ino from using the heart turn technique. As long as Ino couldn't use the family secret technique, he would have won half of the battle. Shikamaru, you are so despicable. Seeing that Shikamaru used the shadow imitation technique without even saying hello, Ino quickly jumped away, fearing that she would be entangled by the shadow. Ino, who was familiar with Shikamaru, took a look at the coat that Shikamaru took off when she jumped away. According to her understanding, this coat must be a trap set by Shikamaru. Her IQ was not as high as Shikamaru's, so she didn't know how Shikamaru would use this coat, but she thought that, as long as she stayed away from this coat, it would be fine. Ino's jump allowed her to successfully avoid the shadow technique, but it also made her lose the initiative. 6 Meridians Divine Sword. Shangyang Sword. Shikamaru chose the 6 Meridians Divine Sword as his martial arts. This martial art is not only powerful, but also capable of long-range attacks. Unfortunately, it consumes a lot of energy. Shikamaru's chakra is not enough to use the 6 Meridians Divine Sword as a machine gun. He used the Shangyang Sword at this time, just to force Ino to move. As a teammate, Ino also knew Shikamaru's situation, and knew that his chakra was definitely not enough to use the 6 Meridians Divine Sword for a long time. Now she only needed to dodge attacks, and wait for the opportunity. The fact was just as Ino expected. Shikamaru only used 3 6 Meridians Divine Swords, and began to use throwing Kunai to attack. The 6 Meridians Divine Sword couldn't do anything to Ino, let alone this Kunai. Facing the flying Kunai, Ino dodged it easily. Chapter 85 Kankuro vs Tenten. In addition to wasting his own chakra and Kunai, it seems that Shikamaru's attack has no effect at all. Well, that's not right. He successfully shortened the distance between himself and Ino, and even forced Ino to the wall. He took out a kunai from his ninja tool bag, and Shikamaru jumped hard, jumping towards Ino. Huh? You dare to jump so high in front of me? Ino thought Shikamaru made a mistake. Even if the two shortened the distance, Shikamaru could quickly close the distance and use the shadow technique, but the time Shikamaru spent in the air was enough for her to use the heart-turning technique. Heart-turning technique. Without hesitation, Ino used her own secret technique on Shikamaru. At the moment, when the secret technique was released, Shikamaru suddenly stepped on his right foot with his left foot, and he suddenly rose a little higher in the air, successfully avoiding Ino's secret attack. What? Faced with this situation, Ino was shocked. As Shikamaru fell, she was too late to use the second secret technique. Shadow imitation technique. Facing Shikamaru's shadow technique, Ino subconsciously wanted to jump back, but unfortunately there was a wall behind her. Success. The success of the shadow imitation technique announced Ino's failure in this duel. In the first preliminary round, Shikamaru wins. After Shikamaru manipulated Ino to say the words of surrender, Moonlight Gale also announced that Shikamaru won. Shikamaru, Can you tell me what you used this coat for? The duel ended, and both of them returned to the second floor to watch the game. At this time, Ino asked the question in her heart. You mean the coat? I just feel that it's a bit difficult to perform in the duel wearing a coat. Does that mean this coat has no effect? Well, it can't be said that it has no effect. Just think of it as a distraction. Well, Ino was indeed distracted by this coat. Then what will you do if I dodge to the left or right during your last attack? If you dodge to the left or right, I will use the 6 Meridian's Divine Sword. I don't think you can dodge it at such a short distance. Okay, you win. Second round, Kankuro vs. Tenten. Both candidates, please enter the examination room quickly. Tenten from Team 3 entered the examination room with a single jump, but Kankuro from Sunagakure walked down slowly with something on his back. Second round of the preliminaries begins. Tenten launched an attack the moment the examiner announced the start of the match. Kunai, Shuriken, Senbon and other ninja tools were thrown at Kankuro, as if they were free. Facing these ninja tool attacks, Kankuro was not careless and directly took off the crow puppet on his back. Since entering Konoha village, he has seen many Konoha ninjas. Needless to say, the 3 people from Team 7 are definitely monsters. Even the performance of Shikamaru and Ino just now made Kankuro feel that it was difficult to deal with them. Now he was also going to fight against Konoha ninjas, so he had to be more cautious. Unfortunately, his caution seemed a bit unnecessary. Shianshin knew only the most basic 3-body technique except for the ninja tool attack. Therefore, with the protection of the crow puppet, Shianshin's attack had no effect at all. Bang! Seeing that his attack had no effect, Shianshin took out a scroll from the ninja tool bag. XIU while opening the scroll, Shianshin jumped into the air. As Shianshin jumped high, the various weapons sealed in the scroll rushed out and attacked Kanjuro. This attack was much more spectacular than the previous one. Not only was there the most basic 3-piece set of ninja tools, but the scroll also sealed weapons such as broadswords, maces, sickles, etc. Kanjuro was shocked by the sudden appearance of so many weapons. He used the crow puppet as a shield while dodging the attacks of these weapons. After a few seconds, all the weapons in the scroll had been used up, and Shianshin's weapons were everywhere on the field. Faced with such an attack method, everyone present had to say that he was rich. A standard kunai costs about 1000 taels, a shuriken costs about 600 taels, and a senbon costs about 300 taels. This 3-piece set of ninja tools is the cheapest among all of Shianshin's weapons. Apart from this 3-piece set, there are also knives, guns, sticks, axes, and maces, which are more expensive than the 3-piece set. At this time, it is roughly estimated that there are 70 to 80 weapons falling on the ground, which are worth about 100,000 taels. Now, a small half of the ninja tools on the field have been damaged, and it seems that they cannot be used. It costs tens of thousands of taels of money to fight a fake. Isn't this rich? Just when everyone was sighing that Shianshin was a local tyrant, it took out 2 scrolls exactly the same as the previous one from the ninja tool bag. Damn, come again. Seeing that Shianshin had already taken off, and the field was full of sharp ninja tools, Kankuro didn't have time to think about it, and hit directly in the body of the crow puppet. Double Rising Dragon. Well, this move is actually an upgraded version of the previous one. From 1 scroll of ninja tool attack, it became 2 scrolls. This kind of rough attack actually does not have much technical content. The only technical content is the sealing technology of sealing the weapon into the scroll. If ordinary ninjas face Tenten's attack, it may be troublesome. After all, most genin don't even know sea-level ninjutsu. However, genin who can enter the tower are elites. To be honest, Tenten is at the bottom among these people. No matter who she faces, her chances of winning are very small. In the original work, Temari stood there without moving, and Tenten's weapon attack was blown away by Temari's wind escape, which can be said to be a complete defeat of Tenten. Now Kankuro has hidden in the crow, and Tenten's weapon has no effect. Most of the strength of the puppeteer lies in the puppet. Even ordinary puppeteers have to find some good materials when making puppets. The puppet of Crow was made by the genius puppeteer Scorpion, so the materials used were naturally top quality. Shianshin's weapons were just ordinary weapons. Facing this hard Crow puppet, her weapons had no effect at all. At most, they could only leave some marks on the puppet. I give up. Xianshan saw that her attack was useless, so she decisively chose to give up. There was no other way. Who told her that she could only throw hidden weapons? Even if she knew an offensive ninjutsu, this battle would still be fought. Unfortunately, except for the 3-body technique, she didn't know other ninjutsu. Kankuro won the game without bloodshed, and he was also sweating. Hiding in the crow, he was afraid that he could not defend against Xianshan's attack, and then be hit by these weapons, and his heart was flying. Chapter 86 Hinata vs Niji. The third match, Hyuga Niji vs Hyuga Hinata. Seeing this third match, Moonlight Gale revealed a little strange color, and the Jonin present all had different expressions, and their eyes were all focused on Hinata. As we all know, the Hyuga family is divided into the main family and the branch family. The main family has inherited the blood limit of the Byakugan from generation to generation, and the branch family must sacrifice their lives to protect the main family, and the branch family must be cursed from childhood. The internal conflicts of the Hyuga clan originated from this curse. To be honest, the system of the main family and the branch family greatly protects the Byakugan of their own family from being leaked. If there is no curse seal, some branch family members who are not strong enough will definitely be attacked and killed by people from other villages. Thanks to this curse seal, these people will not be fought against by people from other villages. But success is also due to the curse seal, and failure is also due to the curse seal. The existence of the curse seal is a kind of protection for the weak, but it is a kind of restraint for geniuses and strong people. Hyuga Niji is a genius. Unfortunately, he was born in a branch family. Even though he graduated from the ninja academy as the chief, he was not qualified to watch some of the family's secret techniques. He relied entirely on his own understanding to practice the Byakugan and the gentle fist. Under such circumstances, he was able to practice Kaiten, and his reputation as a genius was well deserved. He was resentful of the main family. He believed that, if it were not for the system of the main family and the branch family, his father, Hyuga Hisashi, would not have died, and he would not have been bound by the family. Over time, he even became cruel to Hyuga Hinata, the eldest daughter of the main family. Now the result of the draw was exactly what he wanted. Miss Hinata, you should admit defeat. Brother Niji. Hyuga Hinata spoke in a very low and gentle voice, but such Hinata did not arouse even a trace of pity from Niji. On the contrary, he looked at Hinata with a playful look. The battle between the main family and the branch family. Almost everyone present looked at Hinata, and some people who did not know the situation looked at Hinata with a hint of sympathy. There was no way who asked Hyuga Niji to be too famous for his genius. Except for the 9 strong men and Kakashi, who knew that Hinata's true strength was completely inconsistent with her appearance. The rest of the people basically believed that Hinata would lose. Hinata didn't know what Hyuga Niji was thinking, but Hyuga Niji's eyes were a little sharp, even sharper than those of the surrounding Jonin, which made her a little difficult to accept, and she lowered her head slightly. Begin. Moonlight Gale looked at Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Niji, and saw that they were ready, so he announced the start of the game. Miss Hinata, since you don't admit defeat, then I offend you. Hyuga Niji didn't directly attack Hinata with words, like in the original book. He couldn't do that, because it would make him look uncultured. What he wanted was to defeat Hinata with strength, and prove that the system of the main and branch families was wrong. So, he first bowed his head to Hinata, and then Hyuga Niji took a soft fist posture and suddenly rushed towards Hinata. Hinata and Niji both opened their Byakugan at the same time. Compared to Niji, Hinata's Byakugan is undoubtedly purer and more powerful. She can see Niji's movements clearly. The reason why Hinata didn't beat Niji in the original work is that, even if Hinata saw Niji's attack path clearly, her body couldn't keep up. Now, after the baptism of internet cafe games, Hinata can completely achieve eyes and hands. Facing Niji's attacks, she can always intercept them just right, making Niji return empty-handed. How is it possible that my attacks were intercepted? Niji's attacks are very sharp. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been knocked down long ago. Unfortunately, Hinata is different. Her Byakugan is stronger than Niji's, and her physical skills are also better than Niji's. How can she lose? Niji doesn't know this. He thinks that he can't attack Hinata because his speed is too slow. As long as he is a little faster, he can win. Thinking this in his heart, Hyuga Nichi's eyes darkened, and he was ready to speed up his attack speed a little bit, quickly end this battle, and gorgeously defeat Hinata, the eldest daughter of the main family. Hinata and Nichi's figures kept interweaving, one attacking and the other defending, and this state has been going on for a while. Nichi was really surprised by Hinata's strength. He didn't know when Hinata, who had been cowardly since childhood, had such strength. But I'm the strongest. Nichi took out all his strength and slapped Hinata's shoulder with an ordinary palm. Before he could be happy, Hinata took advantage of the force and slightly moved her shoulder away. After removing the force from the attack, she pushed hard. Nichi immediately stepped back several steps. Hinata did not take advantage of the victory to pursue, but stood in place with her hands drawing a circle, posing a slightly weird posture. Hinata is so powerful, she can actually force Nishi to retreat. On the second floor, seeing Hinata force Nishi to retreat, Xiaoli, as a teammate, praised repeatedly. Hinata is not only this strong, just wait and see, she will win the normal game. If we talk about who knows Hinata's strength best, it is naturally the teammate of teammate. Ya doesn't believe that Hinata, who has mastered Teikai, will lose to this Nichi. That's right, the martial arts Hinata chose in reality is Teikai. Teikai is based on the Teikai and Yin-Yang dialectical concepts in traditional Chinese Confucian and Taoist philosophy. It integrates multiple functions such as nourishing temperament, strengthening the body, and fighting. It combines the changes of yin-yang and 5-element in Yixu, Chinese medicine meridians, guiding techniques and breathing techniques, to form a traditional Han boxing, that is both internal and external, gentle slow, light, and hard and soft. In terms of conception, Teikai is more than one level higher than the soft fist, that only knows acupuncture. Come again. Nichi couldn't accept that he was forced back by Hinata, and gritted his teeth and attacked again. Chakra flowed through his palms, and Nishi made 2 consecutive strikes, one in the first step, and one in the second step. However, when the first strike was made, Hinata stepped aside, and swept her right hand gently like a gentle breeze, sweeping Nishi's palm away. When he struck the second strike, Hinata's palm swept from his shoulder along the direction of his strike, and landed on his wrist. Not wanting to show mercy, Hinata pulled his arm back behind his back, and struck out with a palm, directly knocking Nishi away. Anyone could see that in this duel between the main family and the branch family, Hinata had the upper hand. Impossible. Soft fist, 8 diagrams 64 palms. Nishi couldn't accept this result, and gritted his teeth. He used the exclusive moves of the soft fist. The Byakugan pierced through all the meridians and acupuncture points of Hinata's body, and the invisible 8 diagrams magnetic field enveloped the two of them. The hands covered with chakra instantly turned into a violent storm, hitting Hinata's acupuncture points all over her body. Chapter 87 Sasuke vs Lee. Facing Nishi's intensive attack like a torrential rain, Hinata was fully focused, and her chakra circulated throughout her body. Then she opened and closed her feet, twisted her body, and at the same time, she circled her yin with one hand and bent her yang with the other, using her weak body to play the Teikai disc, forming an airtight defense. Although Nishi's attack was as furious as a rainstorm, once it landed on Hinata, he would resolve it with some strange power. There were countless massage methods such as flicking, pushing, grabbing, patting, pressing, etc. Nishi was shocked. Hinata was clearly standing in front of him, but he couldn't hit her with a single palm. This was even more uncomfortable than Hinata intercepting his attack halfway just now. It's worthy of the inheritance of the main family. Faced with this defense method that he had never seen before, Nishi finally attributed it all to the main family. It's not that Hyuga Nishi, is not strong, it's really that the opponent is cheating. No, this is not the inheritance of the main family, but the Teikai I learned from somewhere else. I don't believe it. Nichi roared again. He didn't believe that the moves Hinata learned casually outside would be more powerful than his soft fist. If so, what's the point of practicing so hard? A clown. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't compare to the moves others learned casually. Nichi was unwilling to accept it, and he attacked Hinata again. This time Hinata didn't continue to defend. Seeing Nishi's increasingly fierce attack and increasingly crazy appearance, Hinata seized the opportunity and used a hand covering punch to knock Nishi unconscious. The third game, Hyuga Hinata won. After K handed Nisi over to the medical team, the big screen scrolled again and finally stopped at the names of Uchiha Sasuke and Rock Lee. When Rock Lee came to the field, he looked at Sasuke and said, "I didn't expect to fight you so soon. It's really exciting." Sasuke didn't answer when he heard it, but just silently used the sword control technique. It's not that he was pretending to be cool, but he thought there was no need to answer at all. He had not forgotten that the thick-browed man in front of him was knocked away by Naruto's punch in the first exam. He was not interested in facing an opponent of this level. Please don't be so anxious. The examiner hasn't said to start yet. Seeing that the two people in the field had already started to confront each other, Moonlight Gale said, "The fourth round of the preliminaries begins." Konoha Whirlwind. As soon as Moonlight Gale finished speaking, Zaioli rushed to Sasuke's side and kicked Sasuke's head with an upper roundhouse kick, but was blocked by the flying sword that suddenly appeared. The flying sword blocked Zaioli's attack and immediately slashed towards Zaioli. Seeing this, Zaioli hurriedly retreated. Sasuke did not pursue the victory after the first attack. He was like a copy of Gaara, crossing his hands in front of his chest, showing his true colors of pretending. Can you control this sword at will? It's really tricky. Zaioli seemed particularly afraid of Sasuke's flying sword, but he had no choice, who told him that he only knew physical skills. Let's try it first. Thinking of this, Zaioli quickly rushed towards Sasuke and launched a fierce attack on Sasuke. However, no matter whether Zaioli punched or kicked, his attacks were blocked by Sasuke's flying sword. Tenten, who was standing on the second floor watching the battle, was surprised to see such a scene. How could this happen? Lee's high-speed attack is useless? Naruto, who was beside him, heard this and said, as long as the physical skills of this thick-browed man are not as fast as Sasuke's reaction, his attacks will not have any effect on Sasuke. Is the top graduate of this class so strong? Looking at the surprised Tenten, Naruto had something else to say. If Sasuke is serious, it will only take a moment to resolve the battle. Thinking of the power of the 10,000 swords technique, even Orochimaru had to choose to dodge instead of resisting. There is no room for dodge in this venue now. On the other side, Kankuro saw Sasuke like this and said with a slightly sour smile, "Is this guy imitating Gaara?" Zaioli in the field looked at Sasuke with a serious expression, gnashing his teeth secretly. Damn, he was just standing still. Is this the only level you can reach? Standing in place and controlling the flying sword, Sasuke had a general understanding of Zaioli's strength. Putting aside ninjutsu and jinjutsu, Zaioli's physical skills are enough to fight against Shikamaru and others. Unfortunately, he met himself. If you don't come up with something new, then I will start to attack. Sasuke has indeed made great progress. If it were before, he would definitely kill Zaioli as soon as he came on the field. But now, he wants Zaioli to exert all his strength and then defeat him so that he will have no regrets and lose with conviction. In order to force Zaioli, Sasuke slowly began to control the flying sword to attack. Because Sasuke did not choose swordsmanship in real martial arts, his way of controlling the flying sword to attack is also relatively simple. Relying on the speed advantage of the flying sword, Zaiji was done with 8 strikes. Bang! Facing the flying sword attack that was not organized at all and extremely fast, Zaioli was hit by the sword of the flying sword and crashed into the wall. Zaioli stood up from the ground and rushed towards Sasuke again. Naruto was puzzled when he saw this. What is the thick eyebrow doing? Why is he only using physical skills? This situation is obviously not suitable for close combat. He should keep a distance and use ninjutsu. The fact is just as Naruto said. If Zaioli knew some ninjutsu, even C-level ninjutsu such as the Great Fireball, the current situation would be much better. Sasuke's flying sword can defend against Zaioli's physical attack, but it can't be able to defend against even ninjutsu attacks, right? It's not that he is unwilling to use ninjutsu, but that he doesn't know how to use it at all. Lee doesn't know any ninjutsu or illusion at all. When we first met, he was completely useless and had no talent. Looking at the situation on the field, Ake said in a deep voice, "No way, this is unbelievable." Hearing that Zaioli only knows physical skills and not any ninjutsu or illusion, all the Zairokiang looked incredible. At this time, Kakashi walked to Kei's side, put his arm around his shoulders and said, "It's rare to find a ninja who can't use ninjutsu and illusion. Zyoli is just like his teacher Kei, a fool who only knows physical skills." Kei's face turned black when he heard this, and he shouted, "Hey, Kakashi, what do you mean? I can use not only physical skills, but also spiritual skills." Kakashi scratched his ears when he heard this. "Don't shout so loudly, I'm not deaf. What else can you do besides physical skills and spiritual skills?" "Except for physical skills and spiritual skills, I don't know anything else." Kei's eyes burst into flames after hearing what Kakashi said, staring at him angrily. Chapter 88 Burn, Youth. "Kakashi, you actually exposed my weakness in public. Let me show you the power of Taijutsu. Lee, take it off." Kei shouted at Lee and gave him a thumbs up. Lee was puzzled when he heard this. "But, Teacher Kei, didn't you say that it can only be used to protect the most important people?" "It doesn't matter, I allow you to do so. Now is the time to maintain our dignity. Don't let others look down on us." "Oh, I understand." Lee smiled and took off the weight. "It's much easier to move this way." He threw the weight to the side and immediately smashed 2 holes in the ground, shocking everyone watching the game. Kakashi was speechless when he saw this. "Kei, you are going too far. You are harming the healthy growth of the teenager." Kei ignored Kakashi and shouted to Lee in the field, "Lee, go ahead. Now is the time to burn your youth." "Got it, Teacher Kei." After taking off the weight, Lee instantly appeared beside Sasuke and punched him. Although the flying sword reacted, it was a little slower. "Huh, so fast." Seeing this, Sasuke frowned and dodged Zyoli's fist. Zyoli saw that his attack missed and immediately launched an all-round attack around Sasuke. At this time, the flying sword defense obviously could not keep up with Zyoli's speed. At this moment, Zyoli suddenly appeared above Sasuke's head and slashed down to attack his crown. Ding! At the critical moment, the flying sword suddenly appeared above Sasuke's head, but he blocked the kick and forced Zyoli back. Zyoli was very disappointed when his confident attack was blocked. "Your speed really scared me. If I hadn't opened the Sharingan and seen your attack path clearly, I'm afraid you would have succeeded." Looking up, Sasuke had already opened the double Magatama Sharingan. "So it's the bloodline limit?" "Yes." Sasuke nodded and said very pretentiously, "Under my eyes, I can see all your movements clearly, so you can't attack me." In terms of real speed, Sasuke is definitely not as fast as Zyoli. However, no matter how fast Zyoli is, can he be faster than a person's thinking? After seeing the trajectory of the attack clearly, Sasuke was able to take the lead in setting up the flying sword defense. TSK, the Sharingan plus the sword control technique. This defense is really impeccable. The friends who knew Sasuke's strength couldn't help but sympathize with Zyoli. Facing such a monster, Zyoli's luck is really bad. What a terrible defense method. Even if the movement speed is faster, my attack can't hurt you. In this case, I can only give a more violent attack to break through that layer of defense, and I can only use the lotus. Wake up. Zyoli untied the bandages wrapped around his hands and looked at Sasuke firmly. Seeing Zyoli's reluctance to attack, Sasuke said, "What's wrong? Is this all you can do? Then as you wish." Zyoli ran around Sasuke quickly. Seeing this, Sasuke stared at Zyoli and said, "Come on." Swish! In an instant, Zyoli appeared at Sasuke's feet. Shit, Sasuke didn't expect that Zyoli's speed would increase again this time, and he quickly made a seal in secret. Bang! At the same time, Zyoli kicked Sasuke on the chin. It's not over yet. Zyoli used a series of kicks and kicked Sasuke directly into the air. For some reason, the flying sword didn't come to the rescue. The attack was effective. Seeing this, Kei said nervously, "Even ordinary lotus will cause a great burden on the body. Let's decide the outcome with one move. Lee, take it." Lotus. Zyoli appeared behind Sasuke, wrapped Sasuke with a bandage, and quickly spun him to the ground. With a loud bang, Sasuke's head was smashed to the ground. The ground quickly cracked with him as the center, covered with cracks like spider webs. Phew! It hit perfectly. It should be over. Zyoli lay on the ground, panting and looking at Sasuke. P.O. At this moment, Sasuke, who was attacked by Zyoli, suddenly turned into a ball of smoke and became a wooden stake. Substitution technique. When you kicked me in the chin, the substitute disappeared and Sasuke walked out from the side. I said, under my eyes, all your physical attacks will be meaningless. Damn it. Zyoli slammed the floor angrily and then calmed down. When he stood up again, he no longer had the resentment and his eyes were full of determination. Teacher K, thank you. Just your smiling gaze at me makes me full of strength. I'm ready. Zyoli clenched his hands and green chakra began to flow all over his body. That posture and green chakra, could it be the 8 gates of the ninjutsu? Kakashi instantly clenched the railing with both hands. Sakura asked in confusion, 8 gates, what is that? K explained, 8 gates is the preparatory move, before using the inner lotus. It removes restrictions. In the meridian system where chakra flows, there are 8 chakra acupoints concentrated in the body from the head down, namely the open gate, the rest gate, the life gate, the injury gate, the closure gate, the view gate, the shock gate, and the death gate. These are the 8 gates. These 8 gates usually restrict the flow of chakra in the body, but the lotus can forcibly remove the restrictions and release a force that is dozens of times stronger than usual. The outer lotus only opens the first gate, the open gate, and then it will break through the restrictions of the brain and exert muscle strength to the extreme. After the second gate, the rest gate, is opened, it will forcibly increase one's physical strength. After the third gate, the life gate, is opened, the inner lotus can be used. So that's the case. The outer lotus alone has left him covered in injuries. If he uses more powerful moves, Kakashi heard it and said, that's right. When the 8 gates are fully opened, one can gain a power stronger than the Hokage in a short period of time, but the caster will also die. That's why it is called the Forbidden Secret. K, I didn't expect you to pass it on to Rock Lee. It seems that Rock Lee is a special existence to you, but it's too early for you to let him use the 8 gates now. K heard it and said, Kakashi, do you understand that, kid? For Rock Lee, there is something more important than life that he needs to prove and protect. The reason why I taught him the 8 gates is to help him become a man who can protect his ideals. That's all. Really? I hope you won't regret the decision you made. Kakashi stopped talking after hearing it and set his sights on Rock Lee. Teacher K, please agree with me. Now is the time for me to implement my own ninja way. The third gate, the gate of life, opens. The fourth gate, the gate of injury, opens. Burn. Youth. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Sasuke's sudden wretchedness and the end of the second exam. Zyoli's skin has turned red, and his aura is so strong. Is this the 8 gates? It's really powerful, but I didn't expect Zyoli to be able to open the 4th gate. No wonder K passed the 8 gates to him. From the perspective of physical skills alone, Zyoli is indeed a genius. While the other Jonin were still discussing whether Zyoli was a physical skill genius, on the field, looking at Zyoli's amazing aura, Sasuke decided not to hold back. You have won my respect with your strength, so I have decided to use all my strength. Be careful, don't die. 10,000 swords technique. In the air, Sasuke's flying sword once again changed from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and 4 to 8. When Zyoli was ready to go, the flying sword behind Sasuke was also completed. What's going on? Is this a secret technique? Does the Uchiha family have this secret technique? Without waiting for the Jonin to finish being surprised, Sasuke, who had successfully performed the 10,000 swords technique, directly controlled more than 10 flying swords to attack Zyoli. Zyoli, who had opened 5 gates, faced these flying swords and used his speed advantage to perfectly dodge them. Is the speed already so fast? With his Sharingan on, Sasuke could hardly see Lee's movements. Fortunately, he did not throw all his flying swords into the attack. Behind him, there was still a large group of flying swords waiting for his turn. This speed is already too fast for me to react. Well, let's do it. Sasuke did not want to kill Lee. If he threw all his flying swords into the attack, even if Lee's speed was as fast as the sky, he would have no room to dodge in such a narrow space. But if he threw fewer flying swords, Lee would be able to dodge perfectly. In this way, Sasuke was a little troubled. It was a bit difficult to win the game while ensuring that Lee did not die. Fortunately, Sasuke's brain turned quickly, and he immediately thought of a solution. While controlling the flying swords to harass Lee and forcing Lee to move and not attack him, he retreated and let the remaining flying swords float around him, forming a circle. And he stood in this circle. Haha, even if you are fast enough, I don't believe you can break this hedgehog formation. That's right, Sasuke's method is to turn himself into a hedgehog. Want to attack me? Then you must break through my hedgehog formation first. What can I say about this method? Anyway, when Naruto saw this hedgehog formation, he called Sasuke too wretched. Shut up, what's the point of being wretched or not? Isn't it enough if it works? Is this wretched hedgehog formation useful? It is indeed very useful against Lee, who can only attack with physical skills. Looking at the flying swords floating around Sasuke, even if Lee can teleport, it is useless. If you want to attack Sasuke, you must kick these flying swords away. Unfortunately, the flying swords are controlled by Sasuke. After Lee kicked away a flying sword, a new flying sword immediately replaced it. No matter how Lee struggled, Sasuke was like a man with his hands on his chest, pretending to be cool. Damn it, why hasn't this guy's forbidden technique time come yet? Actually, despite Sasuke's appearance, he was actually panicking. Maintaining the 10,000 swords technique requires a lot of chakra. In just a short while, more than half of his chakra has been consumed. If Zyroli's forbidden technique can be maintained for a little longer, the 10,000 swords technique will be exhausted. Unfortunately, the 8 gates of ninjutsu is too harmful to the human body. Before the 10,000 swords disappeared, Zyroli's body could no longer bear it, and automatically released the 8 gates of ninjutsu. Huff, huff, huff. A pain of muscle tearing made Zyroli lie directly on the ground, breathing in the air in big gulps. Seeing Zyroli release the forbidden technique, Sasuke also released the 10,000 swords technique. Touching his hair, actually wiping sweat secretly, Sasuke laughed and said, "You are very strong, but it's a pity that you met me." After that, he went up to the second floor without looking back. The winner is Uchiha Sasuke. Obviously, after being destroyed by the 8 gates of ninjutsu, Zyroli has lost his ability to fight. Gekao did not judge him as the loser, because Sasuke left the venue first. 5th match, Hiruno Sakura vs Akimichi Choji. When the match list came out, Akimichi Choji almost fainted. All the candidates present knew that the 3 people in class 7 were monsters. Now that he had to face such a monster, Choji almost wanted to give up. Asuma, who knew his disciple well, looked at Choji and said directly, "If you win this match, I will treat you to barbecue. What do you think? Barbecue? I'm burning for barbecue." Choji is a big foodie. When he first entered the Legend of the Condor Heroes, others were working hard to practice and become stronger, but this guy took the money he earned with great difficulty and went everywhere to buy food. Everything in the world can be lost, but only delicious food cannot be lost. When he heard that there was delicious food, he also gave it his all. At this moment, he was full of fighting spirit. Unfortunately, the gap in strength cannot be made up by fighting spirit alone. Under the bombardment of Sakura's 5 elements spell, Choji was struck by a thunderbolt and fainted before he could use the multiplication technique. The winner is Hiruno Sakura. 6th match, Temari vs. Aburame Shino. The young girl Shino is very strong. With a body full of bugs and realistic martial arts, she is considered to be one of the stronger ones among the little strong men. Unfortunately, he met Temari, who used wind escape. Even if Shino's bugs are very strong, he can't get close to Temari, who is firing at full power, let alone let the bugs attach to Temari. It can be said that Temari is not only the nemesis of Tenten, but also the nemesis of Shino. The winner is Temari. 7th match, Uzumaki Naruto vs. Inozuka Kiba. Damn it, why is it me and Naruto fighting? Similar to Choji, Kiba seemed very unwilling after seeing the battle list, because he knew that he would definitely not be able to beat Naruto, who had already learned the sword control technique. He would rather fight with the one in Tsunagakure, who was trapped by the good, than fight with Naruto. However, he didn't know that, even if he fought Gaara, he would not be the winner. Naruto, how about a deal? What deal? You see, the sword control technique is too abnormal. If you use it, the game will lose suspense. In order to make the game more entertaining, we can only use our own ninjutsu and real martial arts to decide the winner. What do you think? Obviously, Kiba wanted to trick Naruto. If Naruto agreed not to use the sword control technique, he thought he had a great chance of winning. Did you see the 4 big words on my face? What words? Brilliant and mighty. Did you know that there are 4 words written on your face? I have words too. What words? Shameless. Asshole, you tricked me. Damn, you tricked me first. You can't trick me. Multiple shadow clone technique, bang bang bang. Under the joint attack of Naruto's many shadow clones and the sword control technique, Kiba was defeated instantly. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto. With the end of the 7th game, the second extra round of the Chunin exam also came to an end. The candidates who entered the 3rd exam were Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, Hyuga Hinata, Nara Shikamaru from Konoha, and Kankuro and Temari from Tsunagakia. Gaara got a bye and successfully entered the next exam. Chapter 90 Speedrun Event. The weather was clear and cloudless. Today was the 2nd day after the 2nd round of the Chunin exam. After the 2nd round of the exam, the internet cafe, a magical place, had begun to spread among the Jonin circles of Konoha. After all, the match between Sasuke and Rock Lee had left a very deep impression on these Jonin. Rock Lee, who had opened 5 of the 8 gates of the ninja, was something that even these Jonin had to take seriously. If they were not careful, they might capsize. Even such a Rock Lee seemed helpless and had no way out when facing Sasuke's sword formation. The Jonins all knew that the Uchiha family did not have such a secret sword technique. In order to find out and to resolve the doubts in their hearts, the magical place of the internet cafe naturally came into their eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen had no way to deal with this. He couldn't stop these Jonin from going to the internet cafe to play games. However, he also issued a gag order. This matter was limited to the Jonin circle. At most, he could let his subordinates know about it. As for others, it should be concealed. Sarutobi Hiruzen also found a good excuse for the doubts of the Jonin. Now is the period of the Chunin exams, and there are all kinds of people in Konoha village. He did this just to ensure that the ninjas from other villages would not know about the internet cafe. When the Chunin exams are over, he will naturally lift the gag order, so that all Konoha ninjas can enjoy the fun brought by the internet cafe. Regardless of whether these Jonins believe this excuse or not, Sarutobi Hiruzen believes it. As long as there is a legitimate excuse, these Jonins will not cause any trouble. After all, he is the Hokage of Konoha village. Yo Kakashi, you came early today. After the Chunin exams, Team 7 returned to its usual state. In the morning, they first took on 10D level missions, and after completing them, they went to Liang's internet cafe to play games. But today, the members of Team 7 did not go to do the missions, but came directly to the internet cafe. Uncle, you told us yesterday that there will be an event in the internet cafe today, so we naturally came early. It turned out that on the first day after the second exam yesterday, Liang informed these customers that there will be an event in the internet cafe today, hoping that they will participate. At that time, these customers asked what the event was. But Liang did not say it clearly, just told them that they would know when they came tomorrow. Look, Team 7 did not even do the task, but came directly. By the way, Uncle, you haven't told us what kind of event this is. Here, look for yourself. After hearing Naruto's answer, Liang pointed directly to a small blackboard in the room and asked them to see for themselves. Diablo second speedrun event. Rules. 1. The event is divided into single player and online groups. 2. The difficulty of the single player group is Nightmare, and the difficulty of the online group is Hell. 3. Kill the game boss, the corpse fire. 4. The one with the shortest time wins. 5. You can challenge again. 6. This event lasts for 3 days. The rules are very simple, that is, see who kills the corpse fire in the shortest time, and during the 3-day event, if you are not satisfied with the time you killed the small boss, you can challenge again. Of course, every time you enter the game, your character will return to level 1. Uncle, isn't your event a little too simple? Looking at the introduction of the event, Naruto seemed very confident. Because during the Chunin exam, when the three of them sneaked out of the Death Forest to play in the internet cafe, they had already killed the corpse fire once. So in Naruto's opinion, this event is nothing more than asking them to kill it again, and it is not difficult at all. Stupid, take a closer look at the second rule. Naruto's words made Sakura very angry. She knew that they had played at the normal difficulty, and it took them several hours to kill corpse raging. Of course, this was due to their unfamiliarity with the game, but it also showed that corpse raging still had its own strengths as the first boss in God of Destruction 2, Nightmare and Hell. Did this increase the difficulty? After Sakura's reminder, Naruto also saw the second rule clearly. Although he didn't know how much the difficulty had increased, it was both in Nightmare and Hell, so it looked like the difficulty had definitely increased significantly. It's not easy, but the rewards are quite generous. While Sakura was still correcting Naruto, Sasuke had already read the activity rewards written on another small blackboard. Activity rewards, single group champion, choose an item worth 5 million taels. Single group runner-up, choose an item worth 2 million taels. Single group third place, a weapon worth 1 million taels. Network group champion, choose an item worth 20 million taels. Network group runner-up, choose an item worth 10 million taels. Network group third place, each person gets a weapon worth 1 million taels. Boss, it looks like you're going to bleed a lot this time. After everyone in class 7 saw the event rewards, they were all shocked by Liang's generosity. The total prizes for the single and network groups were as high as 46 million taels. The network group can have up to 8 people, which is not a small amount. Yes, I've taken out all my savings for this event. I hope I won't lose too much. Well, I definitely won't lose. The black-hearted Liang sold things to customers at 10 times the mall price, except for some life-saving items. In other words, although he was going to give out 46 million taels as rewards for this event, in fact, it was only about 5 million taels. For example, the elixir in Chinese Paladin 1 and the moving scroll in God of Destruction 2, each person could only redeem one, which reduced his expenses to the maximum limit. It was only 5 million taels, and Liang might make a fortune from this event. Think about it, there are 30 computers in the internet cafe, and the event lasts for 3 days, and it is open for 12 hours a day. If the daily turnover is full, it will be 360 taels a day, and 1080 taels for 3 days. Of course, this is just the best case. However, Liang believes that, even if the daily turnover is not full, it will definitely not be less than 80%. In this way, he will not lose money. By the way, I forgot to tell you that the online group can have a maximum of 8 people together. You see, after learning about the content and rewards of the event, the 4 people in class 7 naturally wanted to participate. Compared with the 5 million reward for the single group, they naturally wanted the 20 million reward for the online group. The increase in the amount of exchange means that some high-level items that the single group cannot exchange can be exchanged. However, when they heard Liang say that the online team could consist of a maximum of 8 people, they became conflicted. Chapter 91 Ake joins the team. The speed of 4 people joining the online group is definitely not as fast as 8 people, but in this case, the amount of rewards allocated to each person will be reduced. From 5 million per person to 2.5 million per person, it was directly cut in half. Fortunately, as a veteran jonin, Kakashi did not hesitate for a long time. The rewards for this event can only be obtained if you win, and there will be nothing if you lose. So they decided that it would be better to get 8 people together to play. As for who to find for the remaining 4 people, Kakashi has already made a decision. For the remaining 4 people, how about we find the Ake team? Is it the team with thick eyebrows? Yes. Why don't we find Shikamaru and his team, or Hinata and his team? Well, in fact, there is a reason why Kakashi thought of Ake first. First, among the many Jonin's leading teams, he has the best relationship with Ake. Second, Ake is easier to ignore. He is more simple, and doesn't have so many tricks. Of course, Kakashi would not tell the 3 little heroes directly, but hinted in a roundabout way. Assume a Jonin is pursuing Red Jonin. If we ask Asuma team, he will definitely not agree. If we invite red team, it's okay if she doesn't agree, but if she agrees, will we offend Asuma Jonin? Kakashi looked at Sasuke and nodded. Asuma Jonin won't be so stingy. It's not a question of being petty or not. It's always bad to break up others. Okay, you are the team leader, so let's do it according to your wishes. In the team, seeing that Sasuke was convinced by Kakashi, Naruto and Sakura naturally had no objections. Okay, I'll go find him now. Hey Kakashi, my destined opponent, you came early. Just when Kakashi wanted to look for K, he didn't expect K to bring the members of Team 3 directly to the internet cafe. Is Zaioli's injury serious? At this time, Zaioli was wrapped in bandages and leaning on crutches, looking a little miserable. It's okay. After a day of treatment, Lee can barely walk. In the original work, Lee fought against Gaara, and after opening 5 of the 8 gates, Gaara broke his hands and feet. Now, although Lee has opened 5 gates, he has not been broken by Sasuke, so don't look at him so miserable now. In fact, after some time, he can still recover as before. It is much better than the situation in the original work, where Tsunade had to perform the operation herself. Since you are here, things will be easier. After saying that, Kakashi pulled K to look at the activity introduction on the small blackboard, and then expressed his desire to team up with them. We are all newcomers. Is it really okay to team up with us? It can be seen at a glance that Team 7 is already an old player. As newcomers, they rashly team up with old players without being familiar with the internet cafe. Will this drag others down? Tenten is worried about this. It's okay. The games in the internet cafe are very simple. You just need to get familiar with them a little bit. Compared to Shienshin's worries, Naruto is very optimistic. Just as he said, as long as they experience the internet cafe games, they will be able to get started quickly with the qualities of ninjas. Besides, the event lasts for 3 days, and there are multiple challenges. We can get familiar with it in the first 2 days, and then sprint on the 3rd day. For this statement, not only the people in Team 7 agree, but even Shienshin agrees. Since there are no worries, it will be easy. After registering the competition mode with Liang and meeting the participants, the 4 people in Team 7 took the lead in entering Destroyer 2 to try out how difficult the hell level is. And the 3 people in Team 3, that is, Ake and the other 4, first entered the Legend of the Jinyang Heroes to get familiar with the game mode and learn some martial arts. As Team 7 and Team 3 started playing games, customers began to come to the internet cafe one after another. These customers include old customers, such as Team 8 and Team 10. There are also strange Jonins who came inexplicably through the news of the Jonin Circle. Without exception, these guests were very interested in the activities of the internet cafe. The leading Jonin brought his students to participate in the online mode. The Jonin without a team also participated in the single player mode after getting familiar with it. Before long, the internet cafe was full. There was no seat left, and the remaining Jonins were not annoyed, but stood quietly behind the people who were using the computer, calmly watching others play games, thinking about what they would do if they were in their place. Time began to pass slowly. 6 hours later, the time for the first batch of guests to use the computer was up. At this time, many Jonin began to scramble for the computer position. Fortunately, the internet cafe had the network administrator's abuser, otherwise Liang would have been exhausted or annoyed. In the 6 hours of computer time, the 3rd class played in the Legend of Jinyang for the first 5 hours, and also played Chinese Paladin 1 when they had time. In the last hour, they entered Diablo 2 together. Like most players, facing this dark style for the first time, they were a little bit unacceptable for a while, and felt very awkward to play. Fortunately, everyone is a ninja, and they can adapt to these things. So the reason why she became stronger is because of this place. After getting off the plane, Niji finally understood why Hinata became stronger than him. It's not that he didn't work hard, but that the other party had a plug-in. He finally understood that in the internet cafe, as long as you have money, you can become stronger. Thinking of this, Niji seemed very disappointed. How could he, a person from a branch family, be richer than the eldest lady of the main family? Zaioli, a single-celled person, was very open-minded. He thought that he didn't beat Sasuke because Sasuke knew about the internet cafe before them. Now they are also playing games in the internet cafe and everyone is on the same starting line. With their own efforts, they will definitely be able to defeat Sasuke in the future. As for Cheyenne-chan, she is very happy. As mentioned above, Cheyenne-chan is a small rich woman, which can be seen from the fact that she throws out a lot of ninja tools every time she fights. In the past, she felt that she had no place to spend her money, so she could only buy more scrolls and seal the ninja tools in them. Now, with the existence of the internet cafe, she no longer has to worry about having no place to spend her money. As the leader of the third class, Kei was also very happy. In addition to regular physical exercise, he had another way to become stronger. Although it cost money, he was a jonin, and apart from buying some ninja tools and fitness equipment, he didn't have much to spend, so he still had a lot of savings. Thinking of the magic of the internet cafe, everyone in the third class, except Niji, was full of expectations for the future path to becoming stronger. Chapter 92 Abnormal Hell Difficulty. Thick browed guy, come and help me, I can't bear it any longer. Naruto, hold on, I'll come to help you after I clear this wave of monsters. No, come over now. I'm dead. The next day, Team 3 and Team 7 came to the internet cafe early in the morning and started playing Diablo 2 as a team. It was not to play the game in an exaggerated time, but to cultivate the tacit understanding between the two teams. However, it can be heard from their nervous words. Their gaming journey this time does not seem to be very friendly. What kind of hell difficulty is this? It's too difficult. After experiencing another team wipe, Naruto couldn't help but start to complain. Naruto, calm down. If the game is not difficult, wouldn't every participating team be able to pass it? That's right, the higher the difficulty, the greater the sense of accomplishment we will have after killing the corpses and getting angry. But this is too difficult. Hearing that Sasuke and Sakura both agreed with this difficulty, Naruto felt a little depressed. Don't blame Naruto, this difficulty is indeed a bit too much. At this time, Kakashi stood up and said something fair. Indeed, compared to the normal difficulty, this hell difficulty directly strengthens all monsters tenfold. The zombies with only 10 points of attack and 100 points of health in the normal difficulty now have 100 points of attack and 1000 points of health. This has increased the difficulty tenfold, so this 8-man team has to consider cooperation and positioning even when facing the most ordinary monster. This is a bit difficult for Naruto, who is invincible in the normal difficulty, to accept. But the K team has never played in the normal difficulty, so they still think that the difficulty of Diablo 2 is so exaggerated. Don't be depressed, let's continue. We have to see the face of Corpse Angry today. Okay, no problem. The 4 members of Team 7 no longer have any hope of winning this championship. They just want to kill Corpse Angry in the last 2 days. However, according to the current progress, it is really difficult to kill Corpse Angry. Compared to the hell difficulty of the online mode, the nightmare difficulty of the single player mode is undoubtedly much friendlier. The nightmare difficulty only increases the strength of ordinary monsters by 2 times. If you are alone, it is still very easy to kill the corpse fire after spending some time. Look, on the first day, someone has successfully killed the corpse fire, but it took a little longer. The system is really perverted. The hell mode is so difficult. Looking at the guests in the internet cafe, most of whom participated in the online mode competition and were tortured to death by monsters, Liang couldn't help but sympathize with them. Boss, the difficulty increases too exaggerated. Not long after Naruto complained, someone else started complaining about the difficulty. Liang took a look and saw that it was Asuma. Asuma, let me tell you, even though the monster has become 10 times stronger, your number has also increased to 8 people. If you spread it out to each person, the monster has only doubled in strength. More than 1 times is not a lot, right? Come to think of it, the 8 of you can still cooperate when facing the monster, but there is only 1 monster, so you still have the advantage. Think about it, isn't that the truth? Facing Liang's words, Asuma thought about it, and it seemed to make sense. Asuma, don't listen to the boss's nonsense. Just when Liang thought he had fooled him, Hong on the side still maintained his rationality. The boss's logic is wrong. The 8 of us have an advantage when facing a monster. But who said there is only one monster in the game? As long as the number of monsters exceeds 4, we will suffer casualties. If there are more than 6, we will be wiped out. I say, boss, you are not kidding us, are you? With this difficulty, I don't believe that the corpse will be killed if it gets angry. I'm not kidding you, it's the system that's kidding you. Liang wanted to tell them that he was also played by the system. Who would have thought that the nightmare difficulty was just twice as strong as the monsters, but the hell difficulty was directly increased tenfold. He didn't want this to happen. This is none of my business. It's the difficulty of the game itself, and I can't adjust it. Seeing that he couldn't fool them, Liang just played rogue. Anyway, the game is here, you can play it as much as you want. Humph. Internet cafes are a magical thing that is unique in the ninja world. If you want to play games and participate in activities, you can only accept your fate. Then is it too late for us to change the mode to participate in the event now? Don't think about it, it's impossible. In fact, whether it can be changed depends entirely on Liang's own wishes. The reason why he refused Asuma was entirely because of trouble. If Asuma and the others changed, would the other people who were tortured to death change? Changing the mode requires filling out the form again. Liang didn't want to make it so troublesome, so he simply didn't let them change. Well, the mode I chose must be completed with tears. Hey, why are they here? Seeing a new customer coming, Liang got rid of Asuma's entanglement and came to the door. Welcome to our store. What are they doing? Standing outside the door, a beautiful girl with a huge fan on her back asked blankly, what else can we do? Play games. Play games? Well, seeing that the customers were confused, Liang said his almost nauseous explanation again, introducing them to the existence of the internet cafe and the function of playing games. There is such a magical place. Gara, should we go and play? That's right, the visitors were the Sand Village trio and the leader, Maki. Gara, it's better to be cautious. Maki seemed very cautious about this internet cafe. He didn't believe that playing games could make you stronger. If it was so easy to become stronger, Konoha would have dominated the ninja world long ago. And the situation inside the internet cafe was also very strange. A group of Konoha ninjas wore helmets, and in front of them was something similar to a computer monitor. This weird scene was hard not to remind people of memory stealing device. In his opinion, the man in front of him and the Konoha ninja inside were all acting just to trick them in and steal their memories. It's okay, let's go in and take a look first. Compared to Maki's caution, Gara was much more open-minded. He didn't believe that Konoha had any conspiracy because he saw Uzumaki Naruto yelling outside. Out of a man's intuition, he felt that Naruto would not hurt him. Gara, don't worry, it's okay. Seeing that Maki wanted to say something, Gara shook his head and went straight into the internet cafe. Chapter 93 Adding Points Mode. After the 4 people from Sand Village entered the internet cafe, they found that there were not only many people playing games, but also many people waiting on the side. They also found that there seemed to be something wrong with the space of this shop. You can't see anything from the outside, but once you enter, the space here will give people an unusually spacious feeling. The shop is obviously only 100 square meters, but after entering, it is found that it is more than 200 square meters. This feeling is very strange. Boss, how big is your shop? Kankuro, don't ask nonsense. Kankuro, who always acted like a big shot, asked directly about the doubts in his heart when facing this weird sense of space. But Temari was very cautious. He thought that this must be the secret of this boss or Konoha. If he asked nonsense, it would bring trouble to himself and his group. Oh, you are talking about this. Just think of it as a special application of space-time ninjutsu. Hearing Liang's answer, Temari and Kankuro nodded, indicating that they knew. Boss, how long do we have to wait? There are only 30 computers, and there are about 20 to 30 people waiting. If it is your turn, you don't know how long you have to wait. Let me take a look first. Liang picked up a small notebook and looked through the computer records. If nothing goes wrong, in 4 hours, all 30 computers will be offline. If you are interested in the game, you can register with me first, and you can go online directly after the computer is offline. Because it was an event period, almost all ninjas who came to the internet cafe went online for a full 6 hours. If Gaara and his friends wanted to go online, they had to wait until 2 PM. Is that so? Temari looked at the blackboard behind Liang, and after knowing some of the rules of the internet cafe, she said calmly, then we will come over at 2 PM. Here, this is the deposit. 10,000 ryo per hour. Temari directly gave Liang 40,000 ryo, which was considered the advance payment for the 4 of them. Okay, you can just come over when the time comes. After paying the advance payment, the 4 people from Sand Village left the internet cafe directly. Temari, you guys go free first. I have something to report. As soon as he left the alley, Maki thought about reporting the internet cafe to the Sand Village. If the internet cafe is really as magical as Liang said, then the sooner the Sand Village knows such information, the better. Okay, be careful. Swish. Swish. Temari naturally knew what Maki was going to do, and she would not stop him, but just wanted to remind him to be careful. Unfortunately, before she finished her words, several Anbu appeared around and surrounded them. What are you going to do? We are Sand Village members who come to participate in the Chunin exam. Aren't you afraid of causing a diplomatic incident? Seeing that he was surrounded by Konoha's Anbu, Maki suddenly became nervous. After all, Gaara is a one-tailed Jinchuriki. Hokage-sama invites you. Maki was relieved that he didn't take action directly. You go first. I'll go see Hokage-sama. Wait a minute. Hokage-sama invites you for. Hearing this, Maki, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, suddenly became nervous again. Why does Lord Hokage want to see us? We don't know about that. The situation was stronger than the people. Maki could only take Temari and the other 2 and follow the Anbu to the Hokage's office building. Along the way, Maki was worried whether his plan had been leaked. Otherwise, why would the Hokage want to meet the 4 of them at the same time? Is he trying to catch them all in one fell swoop? Thinking of this, Maki hurried on his way while leaving the unique contact mark of Sand Village. If it was really a trap, there would be other members of Sand Village to support in the event of a conflict. Fortunately, Maki's worries were unnecessary. The 3rd Hokage didn't know their plan for Sand Village, and this time he called them over just to warn Maki. Let him not disclose the matter of the internet cafe during the Chunin exam. Just that? Yeah, just that. Maki was not relieved that the Hokage didn't find out their plan for Sand Village, but made him more nervous. From the attitude of the Hokage, it can be seen that the magic of the internet cafe seems to be real. This gave Maki an extremely strong sense of urgency. The news must be passed back to Sand Village, and then all the villages must unite to force Konoha to hand over the internet cafe. If the internet cafe stays in Konoha for a long time, then Konoha will really have the final say in the ninja world. Maki was anxious when he walked out of the Hokage's office. He wanted to pass on the news, but Konoha's Anbu were not vegetarians. As long as Maki made a slight move, he would be captured by these Anbu who had been strengthened by the internet cafe. Even if he returned to the guest house and asked the Sand Village personnel to pass on the news, it would not work. Who knows if these people will be targeted by the other Anbu. Maki didn't dare to gamble. Liang didn't pay attention to what happened between Maki and the 3rd Hokage. At this time, he seemed very melancholy. If after the event, no one who chooses the online group passes a level, will they think I'm doing false propaganda? Liang felt very unhappy when he thought that his reputation would be destroyed like this. Yes, even if he was a profiteer without any credibility, it would not affect the number of customers at all. But in this way, his personality would be corrupted by the system. There is a saying, you can insult me personally, but you cannot insult my personality. Liang is such a person now. It is not that he wants to be a saint, but that in life, one must always pursue something for himself. He no longer requires external material things, because he is already very satisfied. What he pursues now is inner recuperation. Therefore, he has to find a way to allow guests who choose the online mode to successfully kill the corpse fire. From the perspective of the game, if you want guests to kill the corpse fire, either reduce the difficulty of the game or modify the activity rules. The difficulty of the game cannot be reduced. After all, this is the system's regulations. However, the activity rules can be changed. For example, on the basis of killing the corpse fire, add a points system. At that time, even if no one can kill the corpse fire, the ranking can be determined by points. However, in this case, the duration of the activity is estimated to be extended, and the number of challenges has also changed from unlimited challenges to one-time challenges. After thinking about it, Liang felt that there was no loophole, and then he spent 1 million taels to get a reasonable monster points system from the system. There must be no problem with the system's products. When players in the online mode kill monsters, their points will be displayed in the upper right corner. It is up to them to decide whether to take a chance and kill the corpses to provoke anger, or to play it safe and win by points. Chapter 94, Points. On the third day of the event, when Liang announced the new rules in the online group, he got everyone's agreement, and some ninjas cheered. There was no way to disagree. These ninjas have tried many times, but no team can kill Corpse Angry. The best time was only to knock down 1/3 of Corpse Angry's health, and then the boss was wiped out by a big move. Only the top 3 can get prizes, and to be in the top 3, at least you have to kill Corpse Angry first. But Corpse Angry has been enhanced to hell, and the overall strength is abnormal. Have you seen a big move that can kill the whole screen in seconds? Such Corpse Angry, unless you have a very good tacit understanding and spend enough time in Diablo 2. Now it's good, with the addition of the points mode. Even if you don't kill this boss, you can still rely on points to become the top 3, which naturally makes these ninjas have no objection. Kakashi, we have to be more cautious this time, and we can't waste it casually. Sitting in the seat and not yet entering the game, Kei said to Kakashi with a serious face. Kakashi rolled his eyes, thinking about how Kei had rushed into the monsters yesterday, saying "Ada" and "fuck," and not taking the monsters seriously. He actually told himself not to waste time. Haha. As for haha, Kakashi didn't say much, but his attitude was already expressed. He opened the game, selected the online mode, and selected his own profession. The 8 people entered the game smoothly. After yesterday's cooperation, the 8 people became familiar with the strength of the monsters, and also increased some tacit understanding. After entering the game, the 8 people played steadily, and circled around the rogue camp, birthplace. When they encountered a group of monsters, they ran back to the camp directly. When they encountered a small number of monsters, they fought side by side. It took them an hour to clear all the monsters near the rogue camp. If they wanted to kill monsters, they could only run farther away. We have 2 routes to go now. First, we take the route to the evil cave. We can also clean up the monsters on the way. There are many monsters on this route, and the points will definitely increase quickly, but it is very dangerous. Second, let's continue to circle around the rogue camp. This option is relatively safer. If something goes wrong, we can retreat directly, but the points will increase slowly. Which one do you choose? Kakashi gave everyone 2 options. One is to kill monsters quickly and increase points, which is dangerous, and the other is to take it slowly. Everyone discussed it for a while, and finally Ake said, "Let's choose the first one." Okay, now let's go to the evil cave. The 3 little strong men in class 7 have played the normal difficulty for a long time, so they naturally know how to get to the evil cave. After leaving the rogue camp, walk along the road. When it splits, don't take the way you came, but choose another one. It's not far away. The monsters they encountered on the road this time were much more than the monsters they encountered around the camp. They encountered 5 waves of monsters before they had walked less than halfway. 3 of the waves were wandering dead that moved slower than turtles, and had disgusting abilities far exceeding their combat abilities. They were purely there to deliver spoils of war. The other 2 waves were all hard-haired rats. 5 or 6 of them hid together in the grass by the roadside. However, this was their usual trick. The group had been prepared for it, and it didn't cause much trouble after being discovered in advance. Just when everyone thought that they would be able to enter the evil cave smoothly this time, a strange cry came from a distance. Naruto was not unfamiliar with this sound. Fallen? Naruto looked in the direction of the sound in surprise. Others also heard this voice, but it was Kei who reacted the fastest. When Naruto said, "Leave 2 for me, let me do it," he had already rushed out first, leaving only a cheetah-like swift back view for the few people. You told me not to waste time. Don't you know what kind of person you are? Seeing Kei's expression of get out of the way, I'll go and deliver again, Kakashi expressed his helplessness. After killing along the way, their level has improved a lot, but rushing directly into the group of monsters is undoubtedly a suicidal behavior. Fortunately, Kei still has his teammates. Tan shields, keep up, keep up. What about the damage? Point at the monster holding the staff and shoot. Move. Everyone pay attention to your position. Kakashi said that being a captain was really difficult. Not only did he have to ensure his own damage, but he also had to ensure that he would not die, and at the same time he had to be responsible for commanding everyone to fight. Fortunately, it was him. If someone else came, he would not be able to do 3 things at once. Kakashi's command was really good, and he took care of all aspects. But the disgusting thing about the Fallen was that the Fallen Wizard, who would revive these monsters. Therefore, if you want to kill this group of Fallen, you can only kill the Fallen Wizard first. Naruto, Sasuke, Rock Lee, Neji, Kei, the 5 of you entangle these monsters. Kei, Sakura and I will deal with this disgusting wizard. Understood. X7 assigned the combat personnel, and Kakashi, Kei, and Sakura immediately broke away from the entanglement of the monsters and handed them over to the other 5. Naruto and his 5 companions did not disappoint the 3. They not only entangled all the monsters, but also killed one from time to time, allowing the fallen wizard to revive the monsters while dealing with the attacks of Kakashi and his 3 companions. It didn't take long before the fallen wizard was eliminated by Kakashi and his 3 companions. After losing the wizard who could revive the monsters naturally had no capital to survive. How it was really thrilling. After solving the group of monsters, the 8 people naturally had to rest. In the game, in addition to taking drugs and drinking red blood bottles, you can also sit or lie on the ground to rest. But this wave is really profitable. Crisis. There are dangers and opportunities. After solving this group of fallen, the team's points soared a lot. If it weren't for the fact that monsters appeared randomly on the map, they really wanted to keep brushing fallen. There is no other reason. The points given are too much. Everyone, have you rested enough? Let's continue on our journey. In order to avoid wasting time, it was impossible to go looking for the fallen specifically. However, there were fallen in the evil cave as well, and the number of monsters inside was much greater than outside. If they could clear all the monsters in the cave, then they should have no problem ranking in the top 3 in this event. On the way, the team cleared several waves of wandering dead or zombies, and they successfully arrived outside the evil cave. Chapter 95 Entering the cave. The evil cave looked like the open mouth of a monster. From the outside, all you could see was darkness. Standing outside, you always felt that something was hiding in the darkness and peeping out. It made you feel uncomfortable. Are we really going in? Tenten, who was here for the first time, couldn't help but shudder and wanted to back out. Don't worry, Tenten, it's okay. As the girl in the team, Sakura saw that Tenten was a little scared and quickly encouraged her. If everyone is ready, then let's go in. Sakura comforted Tenten, and the others had no objections. After that, Kakashi wanted to go into the cave first. Wait a minute, let Micro go in first. Kakashi patted his forehead in regret. He actually made such a low-level mistake. If he went in first and encountered a large group of monsters blocking the door, their trip would be over. After all, this place is different from reality. It is understandable that we may be careless occasionally. Kakashi nodded and accepted Kei's comfort. At this time, Sasuke had already sent a crow into the cave. With Sasuke's current level, he could already summon wolves and bears to fight. The reason why he only sent the crow in was because the crow was relatively weak, and it would take less mana to summon it again after it died. After a while, Sasuke felt that the crow was not dead yet, which meant that there was no monster at the entrance of the cave. Only then did he say, "It's safe, you can go in." After that, he took the lead and entered the cave. The existence of a cave like this is a bit like a copy in an online game. The entrance and the big map are in the same space, but the interior is separated from the big map and exists independently in a special place in another space. Because they didn't know what was going on around them, no one spoke. Even Naruto, who liked to shout the most, was silent at this time. There was only the sound of dripping water coming from the depths of the corridor, which was scary quiet. The entrance of the cave was still quite spacious, but the passage became narrower and narrower as you walked forward, and could only accommodate 2 people at most. Although the highest point in the cave is more than 3 meters, the stalactites hanging from above make people have to be careful to avoid them. Who knows if this thing is poisonous? Immediately after entering the cave, there is a downward slope. The ground is also wet and slippery. Everyone feels a little bit like walking on thin ice, fearing that something unexpected will happen. Only Sasuke's summons performed better. Among them, crows can fly, wolves and bears can crawl on all fours, and their rough soles are easier to grip the ground. These summons are suitable for such an environment. Kakashi has been worried about being attacked in this situation, but when he finished the entire downward passage, the situation he was worried about did not happen. Under the natural light in the cave, 3 forks leading to different directions appeared in front of everyone. The 3 roads look the same, just pick one. Akagi's low voice broke the silence in the cave. When Kakashi was about to arrange Sasuke's summons to take the lead, he saw Sasuke suddenly put his index finger in front of his mouth. Shh. He lowered his voice and whispered, "Something is coming." Where? Everyone was a little surprised and excited. They didn't forget that they came here to kill monsters and get points, but they didn't see any monsters along the way, which made them nervous. Sasuke pointed to the middle passage. "It should be the Wandering Dead." I heard the sound of their legs dragging on the ground. Everyone was still on high alert, but when they heard that it was the Wandering Dead, the tension was swept away, and they were not so excited. As we all know, zombies like Wandering Dead are the weakest of all monsters, and naturally have the least points. Everyone is now at the intersection of 3 passages, which is much more spacious than before, about the size of a single room. Naruto stood at the entrance of the middle passage with a sharp axe in his hand. This look shows that he is a barbarian. Sasuke and Zoro stood on both sides, and Kakashi and Kei stood behind them. Everyone else consciously retreated to the back. As the rustling sound became louder and louder, Sasuke's face became solemn. "Don't be careless, there will probably be a lot of Wandering Dead this time." "How many?" Kakashi asked jokingly. He didn't think that monsters like Wandering Dead could cause any trouble to everyone. From the sound, there are really a lot of them. Maybe there are hundreds, or even more. Sasuke suddenly said in a panic. "What do you mean there are so many?" Hearing Sasuke say this, everyone became nervous. "There are so many? This is really good news. I hope there are more of these monsters, so that we can earn more points." Seeing Kakashi's relaxed look, everyone's nervousness immediately dissipated a lot. In fact, Kakashi was also shocked when he heard that there were hundreds of zombies. Even if these monsters were not enough to threaten them, even if they were cutting watermelons, if they cut them one by one, their hands would probably be sore by the end. What's more, the bones of these zombies are much harder than watermelons. But when they thought that there was a passage leading to the outside behind them, they could retreat at any time. With the movement speed of those zombies slower than that of turtles, they didn't have to worry about being caught up. Thinking of this, Kakashi was truly relieved. "By the way, Sasuke, why can you hear these movements, but we can't?" He just tried it, and found that except for the sound of some insects moving, he couldn't hear any other sounds. "Maybe it's because of my profession." Looking at Kakashi, Sasuke gave a reply. "Druids are the darlings of nature. Maybe because of this, my hearing in the wild is particularly good." Okay. Hearing that it was because of his profession, Kakashi didn't ask any more questions. "Be careful, they are coming." At this time, a large number of Wandering Dead appeared from the darkness at one end of the passage. They were crowded together one by one, rushing forward like a tide. Before the 2 sides came into contact, a stench of corpses rotting had already hit them. In a closed space like an underground cave, this stench could not be dissipated. Sakura, Tenten and others almost couldn't help but vomiting their stomachs when they accidentally inhaled it. "This is just a game. Why is it so real?" "Don't ask. The system is awesome." Several genin behaved badly, but Kakashi and Kei remained calm. These 2 were veteran jonin and had seen all kinds of situations. Thinking back to the mission, let alone the stench of corpses, even if they were hiding in a cesspool, they would definitely, well, they probably wouldn't do that. Anyway, this stench had no effect on these two people at all. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Cleanup. Except for Kei and Kakashi, the two Jonins, who were not afraid of the stench, only crows, wolves, and bears were not afraid. After all, they were summoned creatures without emotions, and the stench was nothing to them. Bang! The battle in the front row had already begun. Naruto injured the stench, and killed one of his friends with his axe. Even if he was 10 times stronger, a zombie was still a zombie, the worst monster in this game. Naruto stood at the entrance of the passage, blocking the narrow cave. The heads of the wandering dead were separated from their bodies before they came out. Except for Sakura and Kakashi, the two elemental mages who could cast her spells suddenly, the rest could only stand outside the passage anxiously, without even the chance to intervene. However, this situation did not last for too long. This was a game that had been optimized by the system, and even the corpses of monsters would not be refreshed for a while. As the corpses blocking the entrance of the passage piled up higher and higher, the wandering dead inside kept squeezing out. Although Naruto's axe was still fierce, he had to retreat a little, unable to block the monsters inside. The rest of the people behind him finally stopped being spectators. As the space expanded, they all started to attack these zombies. However, as more and more wandering dead poured out from the passage, the situation gradually became critical. At first, Naruto blocked them at the passage, and only had to face the enemies in front, so the situation was better. Now he was surrounded by wandering dead. Although the place was a little bigger, there was still not much room to hide. Although his speed of killing enemies did not slow down much, his health loss was increasing rapidly. If he was outside, this group of zombies would be solved in minutes, but now he was surrounded. Being surrounded, he could only rely on the red blood bottle to support himself. He just drank a bottle, and the 1-minute cooling time was up, so he hurriedly drank another bottle. Sasuke's summons also died once, and he resurrected them, and joined the battle again. At this time, more than 60 zombies had been killed, but the middle passage still had these foul-smelling monsters pouring out. Fortunately, everyone's level was high enough and their strength was strong enough. Although those monsters were still pushing forward, as the corpses piled up, the wandering dead had fewer and fewer places to stand, and the originally precarious situation gradually eased. At this time, everyone stopped saving magic power and started to use skills crazily. Before long, the group of zombies was wiped out by the team. "Do you think we should go out and rest first?" Naruto said, panting as he sat in the pile of corpses. After such a fierce battle, only Naruto looked embarrassed, and the few armors on his body were stained red and green. The red was blood, and the green was the corpse fluid of the wandering dead. Because Naruto and Sasuke's summons had been blocking the way from beginning to end, except for Tenten and Sakura, who were pale, no one else was in trouble. Well, they were pale, because they vomited too much, and they were not injured. The group walked out of the cave, and the cool wind in the wild made them breathe more easily. While resting, Sasuke did not let the wolf and bear he summoned sit idle, but let them go into the cave to clean up the corpses. Otherwise, they would have to go in again later, and it would be a trouble if they didn't deal with these corpses. Not to mention how bad the smell was if they encountered any danger after going deep into the cave and needed to retreat. Then these corpses would become stumbling blocks or stumbling corpses. After this battle, everyone's level was further improved. While resting and adding points, after more than 10 minutes, although the wolf and bear did not clean up all the corpses, they also cleared a passage to continue moving forward. If it weren't for the limited time, I really want to rest for a while. Thinking of the battle just now, even Naruto felt a little scared. It was not because of the danger, but simply because he was disgusted by these zombies. If we want to enter the top 3, we have to race against time. After resting for more than 10 minutes, Kakashi and Kei felt that it was enough. That is to say, with some genin, if it was just the two of them, they would probably only need to rest for about 5 minutes. Okay, let's continue. Think about the championship. Think about the magical items sold by Boss Jet. Aren't you tempted? Kakashi has already seen that the morale of the team is a bit low at this time. The boys are better, but girls like Shianshin and Sakura are very afraid of the scene just now. So, he has to say something to encourage them and restore their morale. What else can boost morale more than getting the first place? Thinking that after winning the championship, they can exchange some magical things from Boss Jet. Suddenly they feel that corpses, stench and so on are nothing. When everyone entered the cave again, the piles of corpses had been cleared to both sides, revealing a passage that people can pass through normally. Of course, there are still some small items such as limbs, skulls, and eyeballs left in the passage, but compared to the corpses blocking the road, this is already very good. After all, it was only a wolf and a bear who cleaned up these corpses. At this time, the faint light on the ground attracted everyone's attention. These were the spoils that had not been collected in the previous battle. There were about a dozen gold coins and several bottles of red and blue potions. They were all suspended about 1 or 2 centimeters above the ground and could be seen with the natural light in the cave. Speaking of natural light, we have to admire the system. It directly cancelled the setting of torches and added the setting of natural light. Even in this dark and gloomy cave, players can clearly see the situation about 5 meters ahead. Take these potions. The things on the ground and the gold coins were ignored by everyone. They were participating in a competition and had to race against time. Therefore, even if they had gold coins, they could not go back to the camp for supplies. The red and blue potions dropped by monsters were their main source of supplies. With limited supplies, Ake naturally gave all these things to the 7th team, who knew how to play better. Whether it was Naruto acting as a meat shield to block the road, or Sakura and Kakashi's magic output, these potions were needed. Okay. Kakashi didn't refuse. He kept a bottle of blue potion for himself, and gave the rest to Sakura and Naruto. Chapter 97 Altar. Baji. After entering the passage, not long after walking, Shianshin felt like she stepped on something. Looking down, she found that it was a highly rotten palm. When he stepped on the palm, not only did the green corpse fluid burst out like a slurry, but even some disgusting corpse worms appeared in her sight with the burst of corpse fluid. Ugh, needless to say, seeing such a scene, Shianshin vomited on the spot. If it weren't for her teammates Zyoli and Ningxi supporting her, she would have fallen to the ground long ago. Wouldn't it be more disgusting to fall to the ground? Team 7, who were walking in front, ignored Shianshin's vomiting. At this time, they came to the fork again. After discussing it, they all thought that it would be better to take the middle passage. Because so many wandering dead had just come out, even if there were some monsters in it, there wouldn't be too many. Yes, they came here to earn points, but they also had to take into account the safety of their game characters. Now there is still a lot of time before getting off the plane in 6 hours. If they died now, it would really be a loss. This time, Naruto did not walk in the front, but let Sasuke's summons walk in front. It seems that even Naruto is afraid of these zombies. This time, everyone walked along very smoothly and did not encounter any enemies. When the whole passage was finished, everyone's vision became much wider in an instant. This is a space about the size of an indoor basketball court. There are many fungi that emit green fluorescence growing on the walls around. With the help of the weak light of these fungi, the outline of a building about 3 meters high can be vaguely seen on the left side of this space. On the right side, against the cave wall, there seems to be a cemetery, with a few tombstones standing on the ground, some of which are only half left, and a few figures can be seen wandering there in the distance. Which way to go? Kakashi cast his eyes on Sasuke. He wanted to use Sasuke's extraordinary hearing to distinguish which side's movement is louder. Let me listen first, Sasuke said, and at the same time he pricked up his ears and listened carefully to the movements around him. After listening for a while, Sasuke said with a somewhat uncertain tone, "There is a cemetery on the right. I only heard some small noises. I guess there are only a few wandering dead there. There should be no danger. It looks like an altar on the other side. I didn't hear any movement, but I always feel that something is wrong there. Then let's go and kill those wandering dead first." Kakashi made a decision immediately. As for the altar, if there is danger over there, we just need to be careful later. The process of dealing with a few wandering dead was very easy. No one was injured and no one consumed mana. There was no need to rest at all. Without wasting time, the group, led by Kakashi, walked towards the altar hidden in the darkness not far away. When they got closer, everyone finally saw what this altar looked like. This is a building with a circular base. Although it is only more than 3 meters high, it occupies a large area. If you look down from above, it looks like a mosquito coil that has been hollowed out in the middle, with only the outermost circle left. The hollowed out part in the middle is the platform on the top of the building, and the remaining part of the mosquito coil is a narrow staircase that spirals up. Because the area of this building is not small and the height is limited, the arc of the stairs is not large. The stairs gradually rise from right to left, reaching about 30 centimeters high in front of the group of people. People with long legs can step up in one step. Everyone, be careful, there is something wrong here. There is a building similar to an altar, but there is not even a monster around. This is wrong, no matter how you look at it. After reminding, Kakashi stepped forward again. At this time, 4 dark light pillars shot up from the surroundings. When the light pillars disappeared, 4 mysterious warriors covered in black armor, holding swords in one hand and shields in the other, appeared in front of everyone. Surrounded, Naruto reacted quickly and rushed to the enemy closest to him at the first time. He took 2 big steps to the opponent, and the axe flashing with cold light chopped down with a whistling wind. There was a loud bang. That was the sound of the axe and the shield colliding. Unexpectedly, Naruto's opponent reacted quickly. Not only did he block the fierce attack without retreating, but he also swung his short sword to slash horizontally. In a hurry, Naruto only had time to return the axe, and the whole person was thrown out by the huge force transmitted by the opponent's axe. Seeing this scene, several people in the team looked like they had seen a ghost. Naruto's profession is a barbarian who focuses on strength. After so many battles in the early stage, Naruto's level is not low. According to his points, both the blood volume and strength have reached a very considerable number. Such a Naruto was actually knocked back by a move in a face-to-face encounter. How fierce must such an enemy be? Naruto rolled on the ground and stood up. He only felt a slight numbness in the palm of his hand holding the axe. According to Naruto's usual style, he should rush forward without thinking at this time. But in front of this dangerous enemy, he took a defensive stance contrary to his usual behavior. Well, he just likes to rush, not stupid. It was obvious that the monster in front of him could not be dealt with by one person. If he fought hard, he would suffer. Just as Naruto stood up, the remaining 3 mysterious warriors had raised their short swords and strode towards the crowd. These black armored warriors not only had extremely high attributes, but also had excellent fighting skills. In particular, their own strength was obviously higher than Naruto's. Fortunately, the number of people in the team was twice that of these black armored warriors. They fought against one black armored warrior in a group of 2. It might be because the monsters were strengthened 10 times in the hell mode, so even if there were 2 people vs 1 black armored warrior, they were at an absolute disadvantage. Ake was a little pessimistic and thought that if there was no miracle, he would be defeated by this monster in at most 30 seconds. At the critical moment, Kakashi risked being slashed by the monster and directly used a small fireball at the monster of Ake. The small fireball successfully hit the monster, and the thrust generated by the explosion caused a huge deformation of the movement of its hands. Facing the flaws revealed by the opponent, Ake and Zaioli would certainly not miss this opportunity. They almost rushed forward with their swords swinging from the other side, attacking the monster's neck with all their strength. Chapter 98 Battle. It has to be said that the fighting power of these guardians is amazing. Even when losing balance, the black armored warrior still tried his best to turn his head. As a result, Ake and Zaioli's attacks hit the helmet and shoulder of the opponent respectively. With a clang, the opponent's head and the entire upper body suddenly tilted back. At the same time, the full covering visor was blown away, revealing a black skull that had been protected by it. These monsters that forced the players into a desperate situation turned out to be skeletons. MD, are skeletons so powerful? I would have chosen the necromancer if I had known. Kakashi sent an assist to Ake, but he was slashed by the monster. Fortunately, Naruto reacted quickly and saved Kakashi, otherwise he would definitely be chopped to death. Risking being chopped to death, He also knew that the real bodies of these monsters were actually skeletons. This made him a little regretful. Why did he choose the elemental mage instead of the necromancer? This is just a game. As long as I don't learn the magic of a necromancer in real life, it should be fine, right? At this moment, not only did Kakishi's thoughts change, but even the others felt that it should be okay for them to use necromancy in the game, right? After all, it was just a game. Now that they were still in the battle, they couldn't think too much. Kakashi was, after all, a battle-hardened jonin. Although he was a little surprised that these enemies were skeletons, he immediately reacted and re-entered the battle. This won't work. We need to focus our fire to kill a skeleton first. After fighting for a while, even though Naruto was thick-skinned and tough, he felt that he couldn't hold on any longer. If he was like this, let alone the others. Teacher Kakashi, think of a way. During the battle, Kakashi had been observing the surroundings, trying to see if he could find a way to break out. But unfortunately, the encirclement of the 4 skeletons was perfect, and he couldn't find a way to break out. There was no other way. Since he couldn't break out, he had to run to the altar. Let's go to the altar. With a command, everyone began to move towards the top of the altar. Sasuke will be the last. Understood. Asking Sasuke to be the last was not to send him to death, but to let his 3 summons block the 4 skeletons. The 3 summons did not block the skeletons for long, but in just a short while, the 8 people had successfully climbed onto the altar. Because the stairs were very narrow, only 1 person could pass through. Although the opponent had 4, the remaining 3 could only stare blankly at the back. The top of the altar was quite spacious. Ake asked Niji and others to lie down and recover their health and magic as soon as possible so that they could replace Naruto, who was the real last. Although he was still facing the same skeletons, the pressure on Naruto was reduced by more than half. Because in a battle using cold weapons, in addition to the skills of the hands, footwork is also a very important ability. But after stepping on this staircase that can only accommodate 1 person, the narrow space made the originally flexible footwork of these skeletons suddenly useless. They had to fight Naruto head-on, but this head-on fighting style was exactly what Naruto liked the most. Although he was not as strong as his opponent, he had the advantage of being on high ground, and he did not have to worry about being attacked from behind, so he could concentrate on dealing with one enemy. Although he was in the middle of a battle, Naruto felt relaxed, because he still had teammates. In the back, Kakashi and Sakura used magic to attack the skeleton in front of Naruto, while recovering their mana, and Tenten was also supporting Naruto with a bow and arrow. Bang! After several rounds of attacks, the skeleton's health had dropped to a critical point. While the skeleton's attacking action was deformed by the fireball explosion, Naruto seized the opportunity and swung his axe in the air, drawing a silver arc and accurately hitting the opponent's neck. When the head was separated from the body, the whole body of the skeleton began to decay and weather rapidly, and soon turned into a pile of black ashes on the stairs. At the same time, the team's points soared. This skeleton has so many points, even more than the points gained by killing those zombies. Indeed, this increase in points is really exaggerated. You say, if we kill all 4 skeletons, and then clear the monsters in the cave, then will our championship be stable? Unless a team can kill the corpse of the final boss in this cave, and make it angry, the championship of this event will definitely be ours. Ningxi and others who were resting and recovering in the back were excited when they saw the skyrocketing points. There was no way not to be excited. In the whole team, except for Sasuke and Tenten who were rich, Kei and Kakashi were also rich as they were senior ninjas. Who else was not poor? Haha. Naruto was also very happy about the skyrocketing points, but he felt that everyone was a little too happy because there were still 3 skeletons left to deal with. Stop chatting. Don't you see that I'm almost dead? Hurry up and let someone replace me. Taking advantage of the terrain and knocking on the blood bottle, Naruto managed to deal with a skeleton, but at this time he was already a cripple. If no one comes to replace him, he will definitely be hacked to death by the next skeleton. Don't panic, Naruto, I'm here. The person who replaced Naruto was Kei. Kei's profession was not a barbarian but an assassin. His health and strength were not enough to deal with the skeletons. However, as a physical assassin, his body skills were very strong. Even if the terrain restricted him, he could still dodge the skeleton's attacks by dodging in a small range. Of course, he couldn't dodge every time. As long as he was slashed once, he would be seriously injured. If he was slashed twice, he would be finished. I can finally take a break. Taking advantage of Naruto's departure, Sasuke immediately summoned a crow to replace Naruto's position and buy time for K to move forward. With the advantage of being able to fly, the crow successfully bought time and allowed K and Naruto to successfully switch positions. Zyoli, come and replace me. Naruto, who had just arrived at the back, heard K's call for help as soon as he lay down. What's going on? Why do we have to change players so soon? Am I hallucinating? Not only Naruto was speechless, even Kakashi covered his face and said he was ashamed to watch. Naruto blocked the skeleton for such a long time and successfully killed it. When it came to K, he started calling for help in just a few seconds. Are you kidding me? K said, I'm also helpless and desperate. The essence of a physical assassin is to dodge and then counterattack, but he didn't dodge the first attack from the skeleton. Looking at his rapidly decreasing blood volume, K still chose to follow his heart and called for Zyoli for support. Fortunately, K successfully dodged the skeleton's attack next time he faced an attack, and he successfully held on until Zyoli's rescue. Chapter 99 Exit the game. As time passed, the crowd successfully killed the remaining 3 skeletons with the replacement flow. When the last skeleton was eliminated, Sakura hugged Sasuke excitedly and kissed him hard on the face. Sasuke, I knew you could do it. The girl cheered loudly, hanging on him like a koala, making Sasuke almost sit on the ground. The faint fragrance that came into his nose and the soft touch on his body made Sasuke's muscles stiffen all over his body. He was like a pillar and didn't know what to do. At this time, Sasuke kept reminding himself that he was an Avenger and he still had a great revenge to take. Ahem, love and other things were just clouds. In order to prevent Sakura from pestering him so much, Sasuke decided to make a sarcastic remark about Sakura. Sakura, is your family rich? What do you mean? If your family doesn't have money, how can you have an airport at such a young age? Sasuke, you are so bad, but I like you so much. Sasuke, well, it seems that I have done more harm than good. Watching the interaction between Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto felt a little sour in his heart and said with a bit of jealousy, obviously I'm the one who has made the greatest contribution. To be honest, Naruto really deserves the credit for winning this battle. If he hadn't held off a skeleton at the beginning, someone in the team would have definitely died. Later, when heading to the top of the altar, he was also the first to kill the skeleton behind him. If it weren't for Naruto's tough skin and flesh, even if they could win this battle, it would definitely be a miserable victory. Of course, this is not to say that Sasuke has no contribution. Without Sasuke's summons, they would not have been able to take over so smoothly and take turns to resist the skeletons. But in terms of credit, Naruto is undoubtedly the one who made the greatest contribution. Sakura doesn't care about these. In her eyes, Sasuke is the most handsome one. Hearing Naruto's jealous muttering, Sakura not only did not let go of Sasuke, but hugged him tighter. Not only that, she also twisted and turned on Sasuke. To be honest, no matter how much Sasuke said he was an Avenger, if he wanted revenge, first of all, he was a man, and he couldn't fail to react to Sakura's embrace. Just when Sasuke felt his body temperature rising rapidly, and he was getting closer and closer to turning into a big bad wolf, Kakashi waved his hand to interrupt them. What are you doing? The monsters in the cave haven't been cleared out yet, and you're showing off your affection? Don't you know that showing affection will make you die quickly? After dealing with 4 powerful skeletons, the evil cave could no longer withstand the looting of 8 people without the appearance of the corpse rage. It took them 3 hours to finally clear out the monsters here. Looking at the huge number of points, everyone smiled happily. Teacher Kakashi, should we challenge the corpse rage? At this point in time, it was almost the end of 6 hours. If they wanted to continue to increase their points, they had to go outside the cave to look for monsters. Seeing that they would not be able to earn many points, even if they tried to grind, Naruto thought it would be better to challenge the corpse raging. You want to die, but we don't. Before Kakashi could answer, Sasuke rejected Naruto directly. That's right. With our current attributes and equipment, it would be a way to die if we challenge the corpse raging. Sasuke refused, and now even the team leader Kakashi refused. Naruto sighed and gave up the idea. What exactly is the corpse raging you are talking about? Corpse raging? This name sounds strange. As game rookies, Kei and Zyoli fully demonstrated the style of asking questions when they don't understand. Hearing this question, Naruto answered them enthusiastically. Corpse raging is the final boss of this cave. This boss can be said to be abnormally strong. Well, you may not have any impression if I say it this way, so I'll make an analogy. It's like this cave is our Konoha, those monsters are ninjas, and corpse raging is naturally the Hokage. Hearing this analogy, everyone called Naruto a genius in their hearts. The dark cave is compared to Konoha, the monsters are compared to ninjas, and the leader of the monsters is the Hokage. Although this is what he meant, it always felt a little wrong. Hokage? Since he is the Hokage, he must be very powerful. Ake and Zyoli easily understood what Naruto said. In that case, let's quit the game first. I really can't stand it here. Seeing that Shianchan looked like he would quit the game even if you disagree, everyone agreed to quit the game. After all, the environment here is really too bad. All 8 people quit the game, which means that their event is over. The moment all 8 people quit the game, their results have been recorded by the system. After the 5-day event time is over, the ranking will be based on the points of the teams. The top 3 teams will naturally receive rewards, and the teams behind can only thank you for participating. Hey, what are you doing around us? Aren't you all participating in the event? As soon as Kakashi quit the game, he saw a group of people surrounding them. Among these people, some are related to Asuma, Hang and others. There were also members of the Anbu that he was not familiar with. Don't worry, the activity will last for a long time. We need to collect intelligence first. Asuma's words made Kakashi understand what this group of people were doing here. It turned out that after Liang added the points and one-time rules, those who participated in the online group wanted to see how others played first, explore first-hand intelligence, and then enter the game according to the situation of their own team. They saw with their own eyes the scene of Kakashi's team clearing out the zombies, and also saw them grind to death 4 skeletons. With the experience provided by Kakashi's team, they believed that their team would definitely surpass the former. Kakashi did not care about this group of shameless guys, and seemed very indifferent. He understood that bystanders and those who experienced it first and were 2 different concepts. It is estimated that only when they enter the game and face a large group of zombies and the 4 skeletons will they understand. There is still a certain gap between fantasy and reality. The fact is just as Kakashi thought. Facing hundreds of zombies, even if these people are prepared, they will suffer heavy losses from these zombies. Not to mention the disgusting smell. The sheer number of them is enough to make one's scalp numb. It's not that no one uses the normal mode to play the game to avoid the nauseating smell. However, such teams do not perform as well as the teams that use the immersive mode to enter the game. There are 2 reasons for this. Chapter 100, the sudden appearance of the clan leader team. There are 2 main reasons why the results of using the normal mode are not as good as those of the opportunistic mode. First, it is because of the game screen. The game screen of Diablo 2 is in 2D mode, and this mode cannot be compared with the immersive mode in terms of vision. Second, of course, is the operation. How can controlling the game character with a mouse and keyboard compare to playing it yourself? It would be better if it were an ordinary person, but the people here are all ninjas. The control of themselves is not comparable to that of ordinary people. Seeing that the normal mode does not work, some people have the idea of becoming a professional gamer. They saw that the 4 skeletons in the cave were so strong, and thought that, even if the skeletons summoned by the necromancer were not so abnormal, they would definitely not be much worse. With this idea in mind, a team of 8 people were formed, all of whom were necromancers. At the beginning, the skeletons summoned by the 8 necromancers could indeed help them solve a lot of troubles. For example, the fallen outside the camp, they could easily deal with them by summoning skeletons in their own long-range attacks. But when they got to the cave, whether it was the huge number of corpses or the 4 black skeletons, they did not give the necromancer face. No matter how many skeletons are summoned, can they be more than the horde of corpses? The skeletons summoned are not the 4 black skeletons. Facing the attack of the black skeletons, it is simply a matter of one knife to kill a little friend. The 8 necromancers were all hacked to death before they could struggle much and quit the game. The 8 necromancers are unreliable, and someone else came up with an idea. That is to match them with the same profession as Kakishi's team. It can only be said that people are different. Even with the same profession, these people's performance is quite poor. There is no way. Don't you look at what kind of people are in Kakishi's team. Let's not talk about the 2 leading jonin. They are definitely elites. Among the 6 genin, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, and Hiruno Sakura are recognized as monsters and need no further introduction. Among the remaining 3 genin, Hyuga Neji is the genius of the Hyuga family. Rock Lee is a physical genius who can use the 8 gates to open 5 gates. Even if Tenten is a little weak, his profession is Amazon. Using tools to attack from a distance is his specialty. The team composed of this group of elites is naturally not comparable to some ragtag troops. Among this group of people, only the team composed of Asuma and Han can be compared with Kakishi's team. However, because of the lack of time planning, after killing the 4 skeletons, the remaining time was not enough for them to clear all the monsters in the cave. Therefore, Asuma's team's points are less than Kakishi's team's points, and currently ranks 2nd. Just when everyone thought that the championship of the online group would be won by Kakishi's team. On the last day of the event, the clan leader team led by Hyuga Hayashi and supplemented by the Akimichi, Yamanaka, Nera, Inuzuka, Aburame and other families suddenly appeared in the internet cafe. In fact, they had already known about the internet cafe before Sarutobi Hirozen came to the door. But at that time, they did not realize the magic of the internet cafe and thought it was just a place for young people to gather and play. It was not until Sarutobi Hirozen came to the door that they realized that this internet cafe must have something special. Otherwise Sarutobi Hirozen would not come in person. Just when they were about to find out for themselves, Danzo happened to take a group of Root brothers to the internet cafe to cause trouble. As a result, everyone knew that Danzo never left the internet cafe after entering it. As for Danzo, who is now in the Root, how could he hide it from the Hyuga family, who has the Byakugan? If the Hyuga family knew about it, how could some families that are on good terms with them not know? Everyone just kept it a secret. However, because of Danzo, these families have a strong fear of internet cafes. Even Danzo can be killed without any scruples, so if there is any conflict, when they go there, wouldn't they be walking into a trap? That is to say, this internet cafe's activities were so vigorous, that in the Konoha Jounin circle, basically everyone knew that there was a magical internet cafe in that corner of Konoha. With the strong recommendation of the Aburame clan leader, they were unwilling to miss this event. First, they contest the internet cafe. Second, they are also very envious of the items sold in the internet cafe. Look at the 10,000 swords technique that Sasuke used in the second extra round of the Chunin exam. It was so cool. Even if it is difficult to practice the 10,000 swords technique, just flying with a sword can arouse most people's desire. Not to mention Teikai, a boxing style that Hisashi is very interested in. These clan leaders are all talented. They already knew how to play the game before coming to the internet cafe. Now after seeing it with their own eyes, they quickly got the hang of it. However, today is the last day of the event, and the clan leader team spent half an hour getting familiar with how to play the game. When they entered Diablo 2 to participate in the online group's activities, they only had 5.5 hours of computer time left. 5.5 hours left. It's enough. The members of the clan leader team are full of confidence in breaking the record of Kakishi's team. Even if the time is less than half an hour, so what? Who are they? They are the clan leaders of the major ninja families in Konoha, and their own qualities are not comparable to those of mere genin. Shikaku, this time it's up to you. Well, I have a plan. Shikaku, the head of the Nera clan, has better strategy and judgment than his son Shikamaru. He is also the leader of the Jonin squad of the Konohagakure ninja village. He is a very intelligent and powerful person. If Hayashi is the leader of the clan leaders team, then Shikaku is the military advisor of the team. According to the intelligence we know, it will only take a few hours for the flaming corpse boss to be killed, and even we won't be able to do so. Then our focus this time is the same as that of the other contestants, which is points. If you want to get high points, you must kill the zombies in the evil cave and the 4 dark skeletons on the altar. Among them, the dark skeletons are the most difficult to deal with, but by taking advantage of the terrain, we can grind these 4 skeletons to death, like Kakashi and the others did. So, the choice of profession is a very important thing. In order to reduce uncertainty, we need 2 barbarians to block the skeletons, a druid to connect with the replacement personnel, 3 elemental mages to ensure our output, as well as a paladin and a necromancer. The various amplification auras of the paladin can strengthen the team, and the last necromancer is to enhance our fault tolerance. After all, the skeletons summoned by the undead are still a good meat shield. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.